All right, hello, insannies, stannies. What else do I call them? We bleep on this, so I say curse words and then he bleeps.
Do you bleep because you're afraid of violating some YouTube policy?
Yeah, and getting. I mean, it's the idea. I like the idea of like someone trying to cancel me, but I'm like, but it's bleeped. You don't know what I said,
right? Which makes it even worse.
It's like an implied. It's an
You
implied.
could have said anything.
Oh, I could say any. They don't know what I'm saying.
I do. It's fucked up.
They don't know that my name for them is.
Why don't you just say bleep instead and save your
My
editors?
bleeps.
Yeah.
Well, I like that Anthony to work. I like when Anthony works. He showed my tits online.
That's not true.
I got to stop bringing this up every podcast.
You're the one who
Anthony,
did
listen.
that?
Anthony spread
What?
my
What do you
titties.
mean?
You put her boobs online? I don't say.
You don't say tits?
Nope.
Bleep. He just said tits.
Yeah, bleep that out, please. Don't say it.
Why?
It's a long story. It's an offense. You know, to me, the term tits is like it represents
You're so full of shit.
generations.
You're a fucking liar. You're too far from the mic now. You're away from the mic.
Sorry.
Here, pull it up. Hold
right.
the. Will you hold this?
Hold what?
Hold
My
the
coffee?
table. No,
Okay.
Hold on.
Hello.
I just know
Hello?
that I've knocked this over.
Tits. Hello.
Listen, I spent about $3 at.
What's a microphone?
I don't listen.
Hello.
I don't say tits because it's offensive.
You shouldn't say it.
Tits is not offensive. Tits is to the point, and I got little boobs, so it's like tits.
I don't know. Maybe
Tits.
you can say it. I just don't say it. I wouldn't say it if I were you. I'm sure the people watching are like, yeah, he's right. Don't say.
We should come up with a better word to get banned, like a very regular word. No, tits. Is...
Trust me, it's coming.
Oh my god.
It
Do
is.
you think so?
Oh yeah, the tit hammer is gonna slam down. Trust me, they're gonna get you, Annie.
I have a gavel somewhere. I have all these. Do you want a weapon or anything to hold?
No, I'm cool.
Okay.
That's a nice assortment of weapons. You got some kind
A
of
puppet. That's my
purple
racist.
puppet.
It's a racist puppet.
You've got a racist puppet. You got weapons. Oh my God, you've got boobs.
Yeah, I got tits. Well, you said tits, and you said it very naturally.
No, I didn't mean
You
it.
did, no.
I've never said.
It rolled
I haven't
off
said
your
it
tongue.
here. I haven't said
It
it.
rolled off your tongue.
Well, look at me.
What do
see
you call girls' bottom privates?
I don't talk about genitalia anymore.
Now that you're a father?
Now that I'm a father, I don't talk about it. And before I didn't.
Wait, did your parents teach you about genitals when you were little, or did they give you like the lesson?
Oh yeah, my mom was a psychologist, so I think I got over lessoned about genitals. Like I was getting like book after book on like dicks
bodies,
and
ourselves.
pussies, and like I didn't really care. It weirded me out at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got the whole lesson. No one tried. It's crazy that there are parents who don't teach their kids that.
They grow up thinking they got a cookie between their legs.
Yeah.
And then they're like, why isn't everyone eating it? Why? This is why my teacher's eating it.
Yeah. Yeah. My wife is like, you don't do that. Like if you're going to talk about genitals with the kid, you say penis. Don't make up a.
Well, penis is better. I think vagina is a very, I don't know, something about a V word, but it does kind of, it's true to the shape.
Something about like telling a kid like it's a pee-pee or
Yeah.
a cookie or it's like I'm not saying like spend all day long talking about genitals with your kids, but if you take a bath with your kid and you've got a dick and your kid has a dick, they're gonna be like pointing at it.
Yeah, you don't want them to think it's a rubber ducky.
Right.
Yeah.
But then also you don't want to come up with some like weird John Wayne Gacy word for it that's gonna like follow them through their rest of their lives, and then they're not gonna know why they have
Right.
some weird like. You know, when they hear the word cookie, they feel weird or something.
Bunny, I heard too.
Bunny?
Bunny and cookie. It's like these cute, sweet little things. It's like they're to be played with and to be eaten, and that's not what you should be teaching your children.
Yeah.
This is Duncan Trussell, by the way.
Hello, I'm a pediatrician with the North Hollywood Pediatrics Institute, and I'm here to talk about the new mandatory vaccine laws that were passed in LA.
Yes. Did you vaccinate your kid?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. I just feel like we should all just whoop.
What do you mean, not talk about vaccines?
Listen, vaccinate your kids, but when
Are you an
come out-
anti-vaxxer?
No. No. I have a best friend whose kid is not vaccinated, and it's weird.
It is weird. Yeah,
Every time she's sick, I'm like, what do you got?
Oh, I know.
What is it? Is this a common cold or a very uncommon cold?
Oh, I know. You go to a kid's grave. You ever go to like an ancient graveyard for kids. Like, I don't know, like the 1800s kids graveyard. You ever go to those? Like in the Georgia?
It honestly sounds like a great afternoon. You bring your snacks, you pack up a little picnic.
Gotta go. Gotta
gotta
go.
see it.
See that, because they would write how they died on the graves
And it was
back
all
then.
like typhoid or something.
Yeah, it's all the shit we get vaccinated for now. You know, rubella, just weird things you never heard of before. The fits, stuff like that. But regardless, that anyone who's against vaccines should just go to an 1800s kids
Check out
cemetery.
the kiddos.
Yeah.
I have I used to work with kids that were autistic. I would like shadowed some behavioral therapists, and almost all of the parents were like, it's the vaccines.
Wow.
I
get it.
But maybe it is. They're like, this one parent was like, I took my son and he was normal. I took my son out. He was never normal again. So maybe it triggers something. I don't know.
You know, for me, the way I look at it is I get on a plane and I let it take me far up in the sky from one
And if you
to
come out autistic, you come out autistic.
Well,
and if you all of a sudden can't make eye contact or bathe yourself very well.
No, I have to trust the plane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I have to trust that the plane is going to be mechanically sound and all the various regulations in place are going to get me from point A to point B. And I know sometimes planes crash, whether or not the regulations work, but it's a risk that I take. So knowing that I am not a scientist and knowing that I have zero understanding of how vaccines work, how the human immune system works, that I'm going to lean into the 100,000 peer-reviewed studies on vaccines and just go with that, because the slippery slope is the moment you're like, well, the vaccine thing, it does this, then from there you have to start doing that with almost everything. And the next thing you know, you're a flat earther. Like that's where it leads to.
You think the earth is round? You're telling me.
I'm telling you that I think it. I mean, I can't say I've seen it. You know, I can't say I've been into space, but I do think the earth is round.
Don't you think flat earthers are just trying to like get a little jab on you though?
No.
You think they really, 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 really think it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I think it's like, I think what happens is modern society is so crushingly, existentially horrific for people sometimes that the vice grip of being locked into a system where you have to be working all the time to make money to get food, to the point where you're never around your family, you never get to see people that you love, and you basically feel like a robot, becomes so awful to realize that that's actually what many people are in for their entire lives. That is some kind of dark escape. You start fantasizing that actually
everything's not true that they're telling you.
That's
is that
right.
You think that this is just like a one moment of dishonesty, and then that you can say that everything else is not true as well?
That's right. It's easier. You know, it's like Sandy Hook, for example. People think that was some kind of government operation to try to get rid of the gun, but it's scarier to imagine what actually happened, which is that someone blew his fuse.
Yeah, it's less controlled.
Yeah, that's scary. But if you think it's like the reptilians or the government, you can kind of relax a little bit, because at least there's, like in D&D terms, lawful evil happening versus chaotic evil.
Are you a D&D?
I used to play when I was a kid.
Were you a wizard?
I think I played a paladin.
I don't even know what that is.
It's like a warrior, like a crusader.
I can see it.
Oh, yeah.
And now you're crusading through the stages. On stages.
Yeah, trying to bring people to Christ.
I was watching one of your satanic videos. I told you this.
Oh, yeah.
It's so funny.
Well,
it's just funny that like, because a lot of times I wake up in the morning and I'm constantly thinking about like existential shit and death and all that. I'm trying to be cool with it. But I wake up and I'm like, I just want to get work done. I'm like, what should I do? And I do just like creating content. Yeah. So I appreciate, as a content creator, I appreciate this one video I saw. It just was so funny. You were conjuring a demon into someone's house.
I get connected to those videos quite a bit.
Oh, it's not.
No.
Not you.
It's a weird thing. And that being said, they are quite brilliant. I've seen them.
They're very brilliant.
Yeah. Well, to me...
Is it your doll that connected you?
What do you mean?
Didn't you have a doll?
You know, someone actually did an expose video and they libeled me by saying that I had some connection to the NASA gym videos that you're talking about. But they spent a lot of time on their investigation. Do you ever watch psychic TV?
No.
Oh, they're great. They're like any kind of, to me, there's like the type of art that I love is the kind either that's just like riveting, like a good movie or something, like There Will Be Blood, or when you watch it and you get this real eerie feeling of like, what the fuck have they done?
Yeah.
You don't even know why. And like psychic TV is an example of that.
What is psychic TV?
Psychic TV was, I guess you could call it like a kind of art collective. There was this brilliant human named Genesis Peorage involved with it. And you can check her out. She teaches magic. One of my friends I have on the podcast all the time studied with her. And she was in the band Throbbing Gristle. But
It's a good name.
Yeah, it's a good name. But the videos that they made really like grabbed this eerie, wobbly vibe. And I love that. When, you know, David Lynch hangs out there a lot. You know, this place that sort of picks up, I don't know, this liminal region in between.
Well, not to bring up psychedelics, but bringing them up. I feel like every time I do mushrooms or I do ayahuasca or anything, when I'm like DMT even, this lesson that I get is that life is equally as disgusting as it is beautiful, like grotesque, like uncomfortably grotesque,
Yeah.
and like absolutely like you could be crying. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
So I think the eeriness is like teetering on that.
Yeah.
The creepiness of like being here.
Right. Yeah. That kind of that's
disgusting.
The sense of maybe not quite belonging here. And then also the sense that you get that there's definitely like angelic forces and demonic forces all around us at all times, but we can't see them. And then when that gets wrapped up into art in a way that has the intention of not freaking people out, but sort of illuminating the fact that this isn't all there is,
Yeah.
then I think that's a really beautiful thing. You know, that I think is why people love flat earth theory, because we don't want to think. We know, we have a general sense of
We came full circle like the earth with that one. Thank you for coming back around.
I mean, I guess the earth could be flat and round though. Like you can go around the
It could be
circumference.
both?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it could be circular, not a sphere. The argument is it's a sphere. You know, it could be half a sphere. It has to be. There's mountains and stuff. Like a flat earther is more like a half earther, I think.
Oh, that we're sliced in half?
I would say so, right? Because they certainly have elevation. Like you can't argue with that. It's just sort of, I think the idea is the bottom of it's flat, I guess.
I don't know.
I don't either.
I have no fucking clue. There's a lot of things I don't know. I would say most things I don't know.
Like what?
I don't know. I know a little bit of math. I don't know much about science. I don't know much about. I like to learn though. It feels good to learn. But I don't retain a lot of information. I think my brain doesn't want to know certain things.
Yeah, isn't that weird? That's a weird thing, isn't it? Like, yeah, there's a little force field that I put between me and just a huge swath of things that I would rather not get entangled. There's books. I have a book at home. I read the first book a few years ago and it changed my life. It's this book called Cosmic Trigger by Robert Anton Wilson. Mm-hmm. Very good. And I have the second volume of it.
And you're not ready.
I'm like, yeah, because I know if I start reading it, it changes you permanently.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of scared, but I like that feeling.
How did it change? The first one change you?
Well, he has got this amazing ability to bring together a lot of various threads of philosophy that I love. And so the way that he did that was so subtle but brilliant. So it changed me because it sort of forced me to, for one, reconfigure my idea about the Illuminati, which is like what the book is kind of about, which I love that topic. And up until reading that book, I think I had sort of conjured up idea of there being this cabal of evil, satanic people who are trying to destroy the planet. And then after I read the book, he puts a spin on it where maybe they're not so bad, or maybe there's a natural thing that happens in human societies where certain groups sequester themselves intentionally away from the mainstream, not because they're trying to like hurt people, but because they understand that in a sort of contained area, things can evolve in ways maybe they can't when it's all getting mixed together in what's called default reality. He came up with the term reality tunnels. It's like the idea is that everyone's in their own reality tunnel. It's like the sum total of, you know what I mean? And so mainstream society, you could say, is in default reality. It's one reality tunnel.
Oh, they're all in the same one. Okay, so we're all agreeing that certain things are.
Well, it's like a main highway. Like the main highway is, we live in a democracy, and you know the electoral college, it works, and the elections work, and you know it's not perfect, but for sure it's like the government is a representation of the people, even though some politicians aren't great, and we should trust the federal government. And you know, certain drugs are bad if they say they're bad, and certain drugs are good if they say they're good. Just
trusting and listening.
Trusting and listening, yeah. And also, this is popular. We're told it was much easier for this to happen prior to the internet evolving as fast as it had, because you could, for example, you just had I remember I would listen to the top 100 or whatever with Casey Kasem.
Casey Kasem.
Remember that?
Love Casey Kasem. Yeah,
that was it. That was your access to music. And then someone would come up to you and be like, hey, have you ever listened to Daniel Johnston? You're like, who the fuck's that? And then they play this weird shit. And that was called alternative music. Yeah. Because it was an alternative to the radio.
Totally.
But now everything's that.
Well, do you remember, like, I remember it being so cool when you would find a new thing. Like, I remember it was, what year was it? It must have been like 2001 or something. But the British office had not come over to this, and there was no, like, the internet wasn't in a place where you could really like find content and stuff. So my friend's boyfriend at University of Michigan had burned the British office, and I remember getting it and being like, I have this gold comedy, like nobody knows about this, and being like, holy shit. And I would just bring people over and show it to them, and it was cool to have that. And now everything exists.
Exactly.
It's like, so, and I always think about it because remember Blockbuster, you would figure out what you were going to watch, you would see everything and make your decision. I would spend hours there, and now it's just like, it takes forever for me to pick something to watch.
Yep.
There's too much.
Exactly.
There's too many fucking options, but I have to trust that we're evolving in a direction that's the way we're supposed to evolve. So I need to like adapt. Why? Because it's where we're going. What am I going to resist it?
Well, I mean, no, you can't. I guess you can't resist it.
I can't. I don't want to be like, I just remember adults when I was a kid being like, thinking their day was better than my day. Do you know what I mean? They were like, back in my day. You know what I mean? I don't want to be back in my day. I want to be like, I'm in this day.
Right.
And so this is like, I just have to figure out a better way to sift through all these things. But I do feel overwhelmed all the time.
You do.
I wake up in the morning, I'm like, I want to do something. What am I supposed to do? I need like a plan.
You mean like you feel like you're missing a general direction?
I think I know what my direction is. I think I know that I like to do comedy and make things and stuff like that. But I think that do you remember when we talked like years ago about the 100-day challenge?
Yeah.
Okay, so the 100-day challenge was, I don't remember the guy's name.
I can't remember his name.
But it was like some sort of productivity.
Yeah.
You did the whole 100 days?
No, hell no.
Dude, I bought it twice and I never did it. I spent like $150 on it.
Yeah.
And then it just laid on my chest and I was like worried about it. Yeah. And I was like, and it's just funny because I was thinking about, I was watching something where someone was saying about like, that's what they think PTSD is. It's where your brain is so controlling of everything that you can't, I'm having trouble explaining what I mean. You're like trying to control things. I think I'm a control freak. So I'm trying to control and I have this outcome that I'm attached to. And then so I wake up and then I freak myself out trying to get to a place when I could probably just get some work done. Just like, oh, I'm going to get some work done.
Right.
You're not.
The finish line thing. Yeah. It's so easy. Like, people with PTSD, one of the symptoms is they're always in a hurry. And, but they're like really running away from something. Like they're saying they're in a hurry, but it's like rushing away from essentially like the general state of consciousness of trauma. It's quite painful. If you stay still, you feel it.
Deal with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I've gotten through a lot of mine, and I feel a lot better, and I have an awareness now, so that's cool. But I definitely had weird stages where I was like fucking freaked out a lot.
Yeah.
And it was so much stress, and now I'm just learning to like live with no stress. Well, not no stress, but
that's great.
Less stress.
That's so cool,
it's
man.
Pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's cool. You just gotta like not worry. But even with this podcast, I'm always like, I should get segments. I gotta figure out segments, and then I never do it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I do think there's a benefit to having segments, right?
You're asking me?
Right?
What do you mean segments?
Anthony, everyone's like, you should have segments.
Like a weather report or something?
I don't fucking know. It's like, yeah, we're tuning into the traffic. I don't know. I do not think in segments.
Who told you segments?
I don't know. Anthony?
I didn't say that.
Some people...
Oh,
fans
the fans.
Don't say it. No,
They
it's
want
people
segments.
that work in podcasting. And you know what I realized as I'm saying this? People that work in podcasting, I'm not talking about Anthony. Anthony's just my boy. But people that work in podcasting, their job isn't real. They have a job that they're trying to create and forge. Like they have these different like podcast networks, right? And then they have people who are getting salary jobs at these podcast networks.
Right.
So they have to like make sense of what their job is. So then they go, you need segments. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm realizing as I'm saying this. They're going, no, you need segments. I'm like, do I need segments, or are you trying to have a job? That's what I'm saying. But maybe I need segments.
Isn't that crazy? Like how easy it is to not trust yourself. All you need is one person to tell you some weird shit.
I know.
And then for the rest of your life, you'll be thinking about it. Like, maybe I should do that. Like, it's really odd. I know what you mean. They don't mean to hurt you, though. They just have their own ideas of things. But the worst thing is when someone like that has a lot of confidence and then comes raining down on you with all kinds of ideas. And then if you don't have confidence, you're going to get sucked into that magnetic field. And the next thing you know, you're not listening to your instincts. And then the next thing you know, you're just doing their shit. You become like a sock puppet.
Yeah, I'm a host of someone else's show, and it's just my fucking show that I just decided to do.
Yeah, and they're hypnotizing you too. You know, that's like a form of hypnosis. You have to be very careful because, and again, I don't think people do this. Usually, they don't do it nefariously. They do it because they want to help. But if you're not careful, the want to help people will hypnotize you.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you're hypnotized by not just one, but like 5 or 6 different people. And then you realize you're not doing anything original.
Yeah.
You're just doing what their approximation of what makes money is. And then, who needs you anymore?
Yeah.
Go get a job in real estate or like start figuring out how to do day
trading.
trading.
That is the end, huh? Real estate?
Whatever makes money. I'm saying if like the end goal is like making tons of dough, then I would say that art in general is probably one of the most risky investments you could make if you're making art because you want to get loaded. And that I don't think is what you're doing. But people who are in any industry around any particular art form, they need money because that's their whole job is getting money for art dealers, agents for art, but the whole point is like, imagine if fucking like Pablo Picasso listened to his dealer or his art dealer. He's probably listened to his actual dealer, but whoever was like selling his shit. And they were like, listen.
Can you make it more even?
Yeah.
It's a little off kilter here.
People aren't going to understand what this is, Pablo. What is that? Is that a face? You've got to like make that.
You know what it reminds me of? What? You know in comedy how for some reason the industry or the people that want to put people on TV or make shows or whatever, they hate crowd work. They hate crowd work.
Yeah.
I've heard this so many times where they're like, you have to have like, they need to have a control over it. Like we know this is going to happen. And then how often is comedy good on TV? Stand up. It is so rarely good on TV because you're not capturing the moment and the like essence of it in the room. And I always think about that with like a Rick Ingram, where it's like he's like this crowd work guy, and then he has very little like commercial success because they can't take a risk on that because they're like, well, it's not their fault.
It's a translation issue, isn't it? It's like you're having to translate one specific art form, which is like live, into film.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Jesus Christ Superstar or Les Miserables. Anytime they make any musical into a movie, it's weird.
Yeah, it's totally weird.
On stage, it's amazing.
Cats was great though.
The movie?
No, I didn't see it. I'm just kidding.
I almost went to see
Fucking
it because
awesome.
it's apparently so bad. It's
Yeah.
trippy. Like you go in there and get paranoid. It's so bad.
Yeah.
It's so bad that people are like walking out like mildly schizophrenic from it. Like it breaks your brain.
And then I didn't really watch the Oscars, but I saw one moment where, what's her name? Rebel Wilson and someone else came out in the cat outfits. And it's like, didn't that movie bomb? Don't we want to just like put this to sleep?
No, you don't want to put it to sleep. You've got to like show your allegiance to it.
Imagine you wrote, but that's got to be a situation where it's like, there's not much art in that, right? Like there was art originally when they made Cats. I never saw Cats. I kind of wanted to see it as a kid and I never went. And it felt like a thing where I was like, I didn't get. And then I hit an age where I was like, I'm so glad I never got that. I really am glad I didn't have to sit through that. Because I went to my first play. My dad took me to see Les Miserables in New York. And it was fun because I grew up in Philly. So we had this whole trip. And I just have such ADD. So we were and I was like, this is like, okay. And when people start singing and stuff, I'm like, no, I don't want this. And we were there. I was like,
you're in bad shape then at a musical. You're fucked.
And it's like, it's called a musical. So I know, but I'm like, I don't know. I must have been 12 or 13. And we're sitting there and I was like, okay. And my whole time I'm going like, you can do this. Like you can get into this.
Oh my God.
And I'm like trying to like fit into the people that like this, and I'm like, okay.
It's 3 hours.
Wait. The intermission comes, I go, I did it. And my dad goes, oh no, we have to come back in. I was like, Dad, I don't even know if we went back. I was like, I can't.
Wow.
I cannot do it.
Wow.
It was so hard for me. And then we went to, my dad and I always go to the movies together. He used to pick me up from school and we would go see like whatever critically acclaimed movie was playing, which led to us seeing Requiem for a Dream together alone in a theater.
Ugh.
There was no one else there.
Ugh.
Just the ass to ass.
With your dad?
Just me and my dad. We would go after school because no one would be there. And we didn't read up.
Is that what your PTSD is from?
That was a trigger.
Holy shit.
No, my dad didn't molest me. Isn't that nice?
Well, I mean.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you. But
No, I felt molested.
Act of taking your. Yeah, that's how old were you?
16.
Oh yeah, you're probably. It makes sense.
I remember when we left, we had to go. We like separated to go to the bathroom, and I said to him, let's like look in the mirror, splash some water in our faces, and like give 10 reasons why we're like glad to be alive.
There you go. That's what I think his intent must have been. Did he know what it was about?
No, we didn't know. It was like, and then we're just like. He was like, I just kept looking forward and just hoping you weren't looking. He's like, I just was like, I'll look straight forward and hope she's not looking. We kept touching hands to eat the popcorn. It was quite romantic, actually.
Well, popcorn's romantic.
No, but my dad, so we went and saw Les Mis, but we went to see Dreamgirls.
Which one's that?
That was with was Beyonce in it? Am I being racist? Mm-hmm. She was in it?
No, she was not.
It was, you don't know though. Was Beyonce in it? Beyonce was in it.
No, it's like Jennifer Hudson.
Jennifer Hudson was in it.
Dreamgirls?
Dreamgirls. It was like about, I don't remember. I blacked it out. It was really that was not racist. It's like a musical about like Motown.
Racist.
It was like
this is
something.
like senile dementia.
It's like
you're like you just said a movie. You don't know what it's about.
It was
you
a
don't know who's
musical
in it.
about like the Tina Turner era of music or whatever. So, but I didn't know it was gonna be a musical. So I just go and think it's this movie everyone like, and I'm sitting there with my dad, and they start just singing in the middle because it's one of those musicals where it's like just singing happens during the day.
Sure.
And Jamie Foxx, I'm just sitting there and I look at my dad and I go, you fucking asshole. I was so mad. I cannot, it's so upsetting to me to see musicals.
He loves musicals.
He does, Dad. Hot take. Don't say tits though.
No, don't say tits.
Musicals are the tits. Would you say tits like that?
No.
It's because it triggers.
Don't say it.
That's the word that's going.
Bleep all those out. Please take
the
these
T
out.
word. Don't say the T word. I'm so sorry I've upset you.
Well, listen, right now, my mind is still stuck in the horror of sitting in an empty movie theater with your father watching Requiem for a Dream.
Do you know when you can feel when your swallow becomes like a thing?
Yeah.
Like I was swallowing, like it could have been like an object. It was like I was swallowing like it was like you could feel, and you're just like Like you're blinking, like you just don't know what to
Why
do.
did you go to that?
We didn't know.
Well, but you would look like
no,
you
wouldn't. The whole thing was that we would see whatever was critically acclaimed, and we wouldn't read the reviews. We would just go.
Fuck, that is so messed.
It was really,
up.
and the movie itself is just upset. You don't really want to even be in a theater watching it. You want to be like, well, maybe you shouldn't be alone, honestly, watching that movie. It's a dark movie.
That movie just is a sledgehammer.
It's so upsetting.
It's upsetting.
It's very upsetting.
Oh, but the empty theater. I went to see The Joker with my wife, and
you got a babysitter to go see The Joker.
Yeah, and it was spooky.
Yeah,
because people kept coming in the fucking theater wearing backpacks.
No.
Yeah, and it was just like, man, I don't know. I just felt weird. Like, why?
It almost feels like that was a part of the experience. They're like, we want to make this really creepy for you, so we're gonna send in some backpack people.
We're gonna send in backpack-clad incels to sit around you. Silently.
I had one show that I did in Texas years ago. I was headlining, and there was this weird guy dressed in all white, this older guy, and he had a backpack. And I was like, get him the fuck out of here. Like, I just have never had that feeling where I was like, I am unsafe.
Yeah, why did he have a backpack?
Why the fuck do you have a backpack?
What's he bringing to the
And then
show?
he just went to the bathroom and he left, and it was like...
Any adult in a backpack that isn't at a gym, especially at a theater, it's like, what do you got in there? What do you got? What do you need for the movie that's in your backpack? You didn't need to bring that.
You could have left it in your car.
Wear a fanny pack.
Fanny packs are in.
Yeah, but then your mind starts like trying to think, well, what would it be? What would be in the back? Like if I'm gonna wear a backpack to a movie, what the fuck am I gonna put in there?
That's kind of. Do you like being scared though?
Yeah.
So it's kind of exciting when like in situations where you're looking at the exits. You know what I mean?
You know what? My enjoyment of potentially being killed has diminished since I had a kid.
Yes.
Because there's someone depending on me
Yeah.
not getting killed. Whereas before you're like, well, you'll probably land in forensic files or something. It's going to make an interesting story. But when you have a kid, all that goes away. You don't get to enjoy the life in the way that you do with, pre-child. Because you're like, well, when you don't have a kid, and you hear about an
You're
apocalypse,
tethered to the earth now.
Yes,
You're tethered.
I'm tethered to the earth. So which I needed, but I can't enjoy that feeling of like, fuck, am I about to get my face blown off by some weirdo who decided to go to the fucking Joker movie?
Well, that's such a bummer way to go too. You're just like, really?
Your face blown off?
Well, I guess it's just happening, and that fear is probably very exciting. That last moment.
Yeah, I bet. I mean,
you're probably like,
it could have already happened to us. Do you ever get into that mode of thinking?
I think sometimes I'm like, I'm being written by someone. I'm a story someone's writing.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes things happen where I'm like, dude, someone's fucking writing this. I have had so many weird connections throughout my fucking life that are like, is this a goddamn movie? Mm. It's crazy. And then when I think about that, I'm like, if this is my movie, I want to have like as much control over the movie as I can. Not in the sense of like, I can control my outside, but I want to have control over my character in it.
I see.
So that's why like I got in this, I tried very hard. A couple years ago, I made a decision to not have road rage. I was like, no road rage. Everyone's fucking annoyed in traffic. Just don't be a sheep. So, but the other day I got really mad in like at this guy, and I was looking for a parking spot.
Yeah.
He was behind me beeping, and it's like, I'm getting a parking spot, bitch. Like, you see what I'm fucking doing.
Right.
Dude. Like, just live your fucking life away from me.
Right.
And they beeped again, and I was like, that's it. So then I kept putting on my brakes. And then I look in the mirror, he's laughing at me. Oh, I will punch your face if you laugh at me like that.
Whoa. Like,
you know what it is? It's triggering because it reminds me of Duck Hunt. Remember Duck Hunt? Remember the dog would come up and laugh at you and you couldn't shoot it? It's that kind of like, oh, you're just like, you're laughing at me and oh, that's just going to be the end of it. Like the end of your story in this is that you laughed at me? Like, I'd rather be like arrested for striking you, but not really. I work on my anger. But inside, that's like what's bubbling. Like I'm like
pissed.
I'm so mad at this guy. He's laughing. You're laughing in my face.
He represents everything.
Yes,
it's not just that guy. It's everything that went wrong.
So I slam on the brakes, right? I'm in an intersection. It's ridiculous, okay? Then people start going in front of me because I've slammed the brakes on, and then he's laughing harder. And then I'm realizing like I just gave him my movie. I just became a character in this motherfucker's movie. Wow. All of a sudden the credits are like, it's this dude's fucking, and I'm just like, I just let his whole thing take me over.
That's cool.
So now I'm back into my movie.
Okay. So in those situations, there's a thought experiment you can do, which I love. And there's different versions of it. One of them, the first one I ever heard is, well, you should see everybody as God. Like every single person is actually God. And
that's what my religion is.
See everyone
as
as God.
I was brought up was Quaker. That God's an inner light that's in everyone.
Okay. Ram Dass says we're all God in drag. And so...
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. And then, but that version of it implies a kind of amnesic state. Like, if we are God in drag, then the costume that we're wearing is so incredible that it is, for most of us, wiped out the realization that we're God. And mostly we just think we're the costume. It's cool. It implies a sort of forgetfulness. And some people say, well, that's on purpose so that we could really learn here. You can't really learn in this place if you have
if you know you're God.
Yeah, it kind of messes up. It's like the ultimate cheat code on the video game. But the other version that I've been playing around with is so fun, which is imagine, well, before I say it, have you ever heard of the term pronoia? So it's the opposite of paranoia. Meaning, instead of thinking everyone's out to get you,
everyone's for you.
Yeah, everyone's for you.
I like that.
Pronoia, yeah, it's cool.
Because it is always a lesson, right? Like I learned a lot. I got joy out of it later when I was thinking about it. I was like, that's so funny I did that. And it's so, and then I thought that movie thing, and then that's like a fun imagery for me now that I keep thinking where I'm like, it keeps shifting. Like, I'm like, why am I letting that, is that person even real? Or did I'm letting him have all this power?
Yeah.
Or did I just literally create this person to have this moment,
or that person's your guru?
Yeah,
like that person's literally a manifestation of a guru.
Also, he was laughing. It was joy. He wasn't he was having a funny, he was just oh, you silly little, when you see a kid getting mad, he was just laughing at me. It wasn't even I got mad. It's always on the way to meditation class too. I've really
you
worked
were on your way
anger.
to meditation
100%. And this happened to me another time where I got mad. I beeped at and the guy stopped and he goes, he starts fighting me. He goes, what's your problem or whatever? And his wife just goes, you're fine to me. You're fine.
Oh shit.
We're going to go. You're fine.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, bitch. And then I went in I hope they're not in my meditation class. That always happens where I'm and then they're in the class with me. And I'm
wow.
Shit.
They were in the class.
No, they weren't. But I'm always I don't memorize their faces because the rage kind of keeps
yeah. So you're having road rage issues.
I'm having, and I think because I keep it, so if I'm just having and it was I was PMSing, it was all about something else. It had nothing to do with someone beeping at me.
I'm trying to think of my life. I have road rage sometimes, and it's so funny when it pops out.
It's hilarious,
and
right?
especially when it's in the midst of trying to do a spiritual thing. And you're you fucking motherfucker, what's wrong with you? But to me, the funny thing about road rage is the crazy idea that you had that LA traffic was gonna work for you. Mm-hmm. That's what's funny about road.
This is my day, my quest to get to this thing, and also that I just assume this guy knows what I'm doing.
Yeah,
he might have also. How many times you just beep? A beep is not. I decide whether a beep is angry or not. I don't know whether, sometimes people are laying it on and they're making it a little easier for you to decide, but it wasn't even really that bad of a beep. He just beeped. He could have just been are you on your phone or whatever?
Sure.
Pay attention or I got to get somewhere.
But your rage has nothing to do with traffic. Your rage is because.
I was mad. I was already mad.
Yeah, you're mad.
Yeah.
That's and you're mad. I'm mad, but it's a normal thing. Because human existence is uncomfortable.
Yeah,
and
your ego can. I was watching an Eckhart Tolle. Have you watched his videos of him?
I've watched a few.
He is so cute.
Yeah,
his physical being he's so little. He looks like Bobo Baggins.
Yeah,
he's got these little eyes.
He's
and
like a gnome.
He's a little gnome.
Little enlightened gnome.
Of course, this is what you do for a job. Look at what you look like. Yeah. You're a god in drag, and we knew exactly what you were going to dress like. But so he was saying about anger. He's like, do you ever go up to someone who's angry and go, "Hey, I have a cure for your anger"? How fucking mad they would be if you even saying that, because your ego likes to be mad, because that's a time for it to be there, to be big, and you feel vindicated in your anger or whatever.
It feels good. It's a steam valve.
Great.
You're releasing all this pressure that was building up. and that someone who like does that, it's like anything. It's, look at a rescue animal. Try to pet a rescue animal. Like, they freak out. They're not barking at you.
Yeah.
They're barking at the ghost of the person
that
beat them, and traumatized them. And, this is
how do you know that wasn't me? I'm a
dog beater.
Come at me. I identify as a dog beater.
Oh my God.
You have to let me.
Bleep all that. That's fucked
Bleep
up.
it.
Bleep that.
Pronoia.
Pronoia, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Did you come up with that?
No.
That's so good.
Yeah, Pronoia. And so one of the things I love about the practice of magic, as they call it, as embarrassing as that sounds, and as completely
The Gathering
justified anyone is for making fun of that term, is that it invites you to intentionally induce a state of pronoia into your life. So confirmation bias is a wonderful thing if you could control it. So the idea
and by confirmation bias, you mean like someone said something's going to happen and then it happens and you have that confirmation?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm going to create a confirmation bias in my life for good stuff happening.
Yeah.
So, and then maybe I'll do some, like a spell on you right now, some like basic, like, and so now I have intoned something that is going to produce a week of really good luck for you. And all you have to do is just make sure that every time a synchronicity happens, you acknowledge it. And so now what's going to start happening is you're going to start seeing synchronicities everywhere.
Well, like they have the thing where it's like, I read a meme online where it's like, when you're thinking about yellow cars, you see yellow cars everywhere.
Yeah.
When you're thinking about new opportunities, you see new opportunities. And when you're thinking about like how shitty everything is, you see how shitty
That's
everything
right.
is.
Yeah.
I really have gotten so many negative spins in my life. It's so funny. But when I get depressed, I will give myself a day. I do like just a day because I like to get
depressed?
it out. Well, I don't want to repress.
Right.
I definitely don't want to repress because that's when you become.
Well, we've got to learn how to be solar panels for this shit. I mean, for example, if I need to write, I go to the gym because I don't want to work out. And I know that. So when I go to the gym, I pull out my notebook and I will write and
That's
write
so
and
funny.
write.
You never get on the treadmill?
What? No, I'll get on the treadmill,
so
just not that long. But I know if I go to the gym, my body doesn't want to work out. And so it'll write. And so I write at the gym. So what I've done is essentially turn my procrastination into writing.
You've been writing a lot, buddy. You're looking good. You've been writing?
I've been writing all.
This guy's been writing.
I've been writing for a year.
Damn, this guy's been writing.
I'm fucking writing all the time. My buttons are popping out. I'm writing so much. Oh, I'm fat right now. I gained so much.
I'm fat too, but you know what's weird?
What? You're not fat.
No. For me, I am. I just got weighed. I went to the doctor. I got weighed. I'm at a weight that's.
You got to go to the
heavy.
doctor.
But listen, I don't like to know the number because it.
Why?
Because the number puts a thing on me where I'm like, I can walk around. I do this too with like my makeup and stuff because makeup is very fun. I love makeup. It's so fun to be able to do that, right? But makeup wears off throughout the day. I don't have the fucking energy for that. So I just made this decision, like whatever my makeup looks like when I leave.
Yeah.
Is how I have decided it looks all day. And if it's messy and looks like shit, that's on you guys. You got to deal with it. You manage your emotions around that because I don't give a shit.
That's nice.
So if I have like a fake eyelash hanging up, I literally don't care.
Who cares?
Exactly. But it's like so it's whatever. So whatever I think I look like is the weight that I am, right? So I just choose to be positive. But I've struggled with like self-esteem throughout my life, all this stuff. And I'm at this place in my life where I'm just doing good.
Good for you.
So though I'm making the indulgent choices with food and stuff like that, and I know that I'm gaining weight, I have a number now. It's like I know
You're
I
fine.
look cute. No, I look cute at all these. It's like
you don't look fat at all.
No, I know I don't, but it's like there's some clothes that aren't fitting and stuff like that.
Oh right, yeah.
It's like you're like. Ah.
See, this is one of the many differences I think between your age and your gender and my age and my gender, which is at this point. I'm less like, good God, man, you look fucked up. You're all fat.
Yeah.
Now it's like,
I don't want to die.
I don't want to have a heart attack or become diabetic. So for me, there's more of like the impulse behind it. And what's great about having a kid is like the reason before you might just think, maybe I'll just melt into a big puddle of fat and just die alone. Now I'm like, I need to be healthy for my kids. So
I have a little bit of that just because I'm 36, so I'm like, I'm getting to a place where it's like, I was just, no one's going to come. And I lost that idea of like, there's some sort of diet or there's some sort of thing, but more of this natural, like, oh, what do I want to give my body? What do I want to have?
Right.
And all that stuff. But this most recent weight gain is not, I've just been eating all these really good foods for me. And that's why it's been, and I had to stop smoking weed and I struggle
Why the
with
weed? Because it was making you eat too much?
No. Well, sure. That's part of it. But with weed, I slow myself down. It keeps me from, feeling like fully expressed. It keeps me, I doubt myself. I look back on things. I have ruminating thoughts.
Okay.
It's just not a good thing for me. And the reason what I realize is I'm addicted to, it's not any sort of drugs or alcohol, because I quit drinking 11 years ago, but it's not that. It's, I like being bad. Like the idea of like, ooh, something bad.
Oh.
Ooh, I could just do something bad right now. It's like, that's why I like cigarettes. Like I'm like, ooh, something bad. Because that was so much of my identity as a kid, because I was a juvenile delinquent. So it's like being bad was like
You say it
everything.
like you went to school for it or something.
I did. I went to a juvenile delinquent school. They trained me. I went in not that bad and I came out like fucking psycho. But then I got back around. Everyone else like died or became Verizon kiosk workers or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's a couple people that really soared, but a lot of us did not do well. But
well, what's that feel like being bad?
Like something about like nobody's telling me what to do, or like, and it's all in my own head, right?
But what's the feeling, the emotional component? Like when you're doing something particularly bad?
It's an adrenaline rush that I'm having, right? So it's like, usually when I get off stage, I'm like, what do I gotta do something bad? Oh, I just performed and I'm excited and now I have to do something bad. Maybe it's a punishing myself because I'm feeling good.
So, but is there like I'm saying, is there like inside of you, aside from the adrenaline, it's exciting.
It's exciting.
What's the feeling component? Can you describe
It's exciting.
feeling?
Well,
What color would the feeling be?
Of bad?
Yeah.
Bright blue.
So it's bright blue. And would it be solid? Is it like a translucent?
It's a translucent. It's like a bright, it's
blue.
like my favorite color. Like, whew.
An opaque bright blue?
Not opaque, like it's like purplish blue. There was this weird thing. My best friend in high school, her parents were antique dealers, and there was this light box that was like on a roll, these different colors, and there was this box it was in, and it was these two naked ladies, and there were cutouts, and then these lights would come through. It was this weird thing that I don't know if it's ever existed anywhere else. And there was one light that would come through and it was this bluish purple, and I was like obsessed with it. And I think about that light a lot.
Okay. So it's like that light.
Yeah.
That light represents being bad to you.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it's like, yeah.
But isn't that good? Why is it bad?
I don't know. So my dad,
why is the action bad? I'm sorry to cut you off.
I know, but I was going to try to explain it through this thing my dad always says. Because my dad will go, his eating is his thing. He loves like to eat sweets and like, he feels bad, but he'll go, let's go to the grocery store and get something BAD. Like, let's go be bad. Like, it's like that sort of like, ooh,
right.
Like, we're going to cut class or whatever. My dad has that. And he gave it's like both of us are like that. Like, ooh, we're team fun. And like everyone else is team responsibility. And we're like,
it's
so
bad.
I'm always kind of like,
bad.
I'm not going to do my homework. That's bad. Stuff like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
But so maybe I do really to embrace that it's like good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
But weed for me it just doesn't, I'm not good at controlling the amount that I take. And then I'm smoking so much that it's like in place of something. I don't know.
Isn't it weird? Like, to me, anything that I think of as bad that I do, then I realize I'm getting off on the fact that I think it's bad. Like, particularly like any addiction. Yeah. Most addicts are addicted not just to the substance, but it seems like mostly they're addicted to the ritual of procuring the substance, ingesting the substance, the guilt following the coming down moment. They love that. Like, the whole thing is this hilariously, offensively repulsive form of like it's masturbatory. They're just jerking themselves off.
Well, I also have a problem with that. I indulge a lot. I overindulge. But my whole life has been like quitting, like cold turkey quitting things, then getting back on them, then quitting them and I kind of like it. I mean, I really do. Like I see this sort of pattern in my life, and it, it varies in time length and stuff like that, and how hard I get into things. But it's fun. I mean, like with me with drinking, I will never drink again because I can't. I would drink so much I would be like not there. I don't like that. I don't like to not be there. Yeah. I don't want to miss. I feel like I'm 5 years younger than I am. I missed like 5 years of my life. I feel like
terrible substance.
And I like to drink and drive. It's my favorite. Yeah. So I just can't be trusted.
Drink.
I can hurt others with it.
Yeah, for sure. Alcohol is the worst of them all. It's terrible. Even like physiologically, heroin's better for you than alcohol. Alcohol is a rancid mess. But to get back to this idea of bad versus good, it's a really fun thing to think about, because in my own assessment of that sort of taboo thing that you create in your own life, like, oh, that's off limits, this is okay. You create this hilarious self-imposed bifurcation of your life. And then you play this ridiculous game of like going into a room of a house that you made up. Yeah. And when you're in the room, you're like, I'm being bad. Yeah. And then you get out of the room, you're like, what have I done? Oh my God.
Why did I go back? Yeah.
But there's no house and there's no room. There's just this mental game that you're playing with yourself to produce a feeling of tension and release, a feeling of relief and a feeling of redemption. Right. How wonderful to redeem yourself. How wonderful to suddenly be like, you know what? I've turned things around.
Yeah, look what I've done. Yeah. I'm a hero now.
Yeah. And you're just jerking your brain off. You're trying to like have all these sort of either righteousness orgasms or these, orgasms of sin and suffering. But the reality of the situation is that both of those things that you've invented are just a made up thing that you're creating to escape from the general sense of suffering that comes from being a human. That would be my guess, if that's the reason.
Well, it does keep me busy, right? Because I do think about...
There you go.
I'm constantly thinking about like, we're going to die, but I'm not like worried about it. I'm chill about it. I've worked a lot on that, but mostly it never was about myself. It's always been about my dad. I've always like projected it onto my dad. Yeah. Like, my dad's going to die. My dad's going to die. My dad's going to die. And then every time I do ayahuasca, it's like, I kill my dad and I just like get through it. Yeah. And my dad is like planning it. Like, he's like, I'm going to die. Like, everyone's going to be okay. I just want to know everyone's going to be okay. Like, he's being so good. And my mom, they're both like, they're going to like, they're doing all these things about like growing old. And my dad told me that they went to a seminar the other day and my mom was like, I'm finally like realized that I will be able to have a life without my husband. And then she's like, you can die now. And then I'm like, in my head, I'm like, Mom, don't say that to him.
Is he sick?
No, he's 78. He's turning 79 and he's really nervous. I had this like nightmare the other day that he wasn't well, and it was because I had talked to him and he was tired. He'd had like this whole full day, and when he never shows his age, but when he was tired, he just sounds like old, and he knows he does, and it's like he's completely aware of it, and it's just like an interesting thing that I just have to like let go and just like let it happen, and because it's my whole life has just been, oh my God, always about my dad dying. Yeah. I was telling you, we listened to your episode with, I think, it was with Ram Dass, and I think it was right after your mom had died. Yeah. And it was like, I was going through all these like, it was Christmas. I had just gotten back with my family. I hadn't seen them in a little bit. And I got in a fight with my mom, like this huge fight where I'm like screaming at her in a Target. And I just went in my head like, you're never screaming at your mom again. Like you're letting it go because your mom will be like this forever and then she'll be dead and you will fucking miss her every day. Yeah. So just like accept that she's gonna say weird things that are like for whatever her thing is. Like she just says weird shit and it's her shit and I know that. I'm grown up. I know that.
You're allowed to be yourself. I'm
not yelling at my mom in a Target ever again if I can avoid it. I'm gonna be conscious of that and try not to do that.
Definitely avoid it. But this is after my mom passed and dad. I went through, I think most people go through guilt because you look back and you think, oh my God, if only I had, and then if only I'd done that, or, oh, I wish, and all this stuff. And all of those things are dwarfed by the reality of what has happened. They've dropped their body, and but you want to have something to hold on to. The guilt.
So the guilt is a thing.
Yeah, the guilt.
It's like the eating the cookies or whatever, and then the next day being like, "What did I do?"
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
It gives you a little thing to hold on to.
Yeah, totally.
But you don't. The thing is, like, the moment you let go of that stuff, or I have noticed the moment I let go of that stuff, you find yourself in the most ridiculous situation, which is that you realize I'm still with them.
Yeah.
And that you know, if you say that to anyone who is a rationalist, they will say, "Oh, this is just denial. You're trying to say this is just another pacifier, another thing for you to cling on to." But you have to use your own subjective, empirical sense. Like, oh, whatever my perception of them is something that's still in me,
right?
And very accessible in its own way. And anyway, there's no way to avoid the grief.
Yeah.
And
we're staggered. It's like that's how we're born, and it's like obviously this like sick fucking lesson we need to learn, or maybe it's not sick. Maybe that's the lesson, but it's just like this inevitable thing. And then I was realizing like the first time I did ayahuasca, that was kind of like my huge epiphany, was like this like clinging to my dad is like what all my issues are in life, is like this like inevitable like death or whatever, this inevitable like every relationship's gonna end, everything you love will go, and just having to deal with the fact that is just is, and that there's nothing I can do. I can't control that, and by trying to control that, I'm not enjoying the present moment.
Right. Well, there's a fantastic book called Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, who is a Stoic philosopher. He addresses the death fear that is a natural thing to have. And it's so fucked up the way he does it, though, because he points out that most people, when they're afraid to die or afraid of losing someone, have created an assessment of reality in which their past exists. So the truth of the matter is there is no past. And then the invitation to explore that is to go into your memories, your most vivid memory, and really like look at it. And what I do is I think about like, what kind of TV would this be? Would it be it's definitely not 4K, my memories. They're wavery, wobbly, inconsistent. And how much of that is because I've done acid since I was 16? I can't answer that. But that being said, I don't know. You know, there's actually a term for it, photographic memory. And it's a rare thing where people can remember things as though they're looking at a photograph. For most people, memories are a bit like dreamy. You can't, and here's another thing. Memories, you can't smell a thing again. You have to have a thing under your nose to smell it. So in a memory, if you can remember smelling something, you can't smell it right now. You can't feel what you felt in your memories.
You'll never smell the same thing because it's not the same mixture of smell. You know what I mean? Even if you're smelling the scent of a thing, there's other scents that are mixing with it too.
I'm saying
like the perfect scent.
I mean, like think of like the last great meal you had. Like think of it. You can't taste it right now.
I could. Girl Scout cookies in my fridge right now.
You can go taste it now, but you know what I'm saying is the whole damn thing is gone.
Yeah.
So his what he was pointing out is like, you know, really all that stuff's gone already. Your death happens every time you breathe out and breathe back in. You're dying because everything before this, at least where you're at in the time-space continuum,
is gone.
Obliviated. So you can't really, the illusion that you could even hold on to anything. And then the other thing about it is holding on to any person or thing is impossible. And that gets compared to seeing a reflection in a lake and then trying to like cup the moon in your hands and like bring it's a reflection. Yeah. We seem to be in some kind of reflective situation where you can't really hold on to anything. And anytime anything great is happening, pretty soon you're just remembering it.
I always say I feel like I'm grabbing water. I'm always like trying to grab
you do?
water. Yeah,
That's
I always say that. Yeah.
Right. So that is the human situation. Everyone's trying to grab gold.
Well, it's like
we
don't nothing belongs to us, right? Like, you know, I rent this apartment. People buy their house. They like stake this land. It's like, that ain't your fucking land.
Yeah.
Or like you marry someone. That's not your, like, they're with you, but they're not you. You don't have like the ownership.
Oh.
There's nothing like that's yours.
Well,
These
no.
aren't ours. Nothing's ours.
Yeah, and nothing's ours. This is all going in a landfill.
Yeah.
And then when you think about the various phases in your life, you realize it's like different parts of a dream.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, it's weird when you like Netflix had something on memory. I have a twin brother, and it's funny to have a twin because we have a better shot of remembering things because but it's sometimes we don't remember things the same at all. And, but we both saw this Netflix thing about how like you don't remember shit. Nobody remembers fucking shit. Dude.
Yeah.
And I did not realize that until very recently. And I was clinging. I was clinging to these like traumatic things that happened to me in high school, like every day. And then I realized once I worked through that trauma and I like let it go, I was like, oh, I don't have to like live in that space every day. I was choosing to like retreat back to a place that was unpleasant.
Right.
For myself.
Yeah.
And like what you were saying, like I can go back, like I don't remember, I can remember the room I was in when all the shit went down, but it's like, maybe that's not where the things were. Or maybe like I'm remembering some place I was at in college and I'm mixing them up or whatever. And so if that's the case, then fucking, I'm not going to let like things have power over me that aren't, and it's all me.
And then the question is, who are you?
Yeah.
Who are the memories happening to?
Yeah.
That's the other thing is if you're having a memory, for the memory to even happen, there has to be something observing the memory.
Yeah.
What's that? Who's the observer of the
fucking
memory?
weird. I used to think when I was little, I would just stay up at night being like, it's so weird I'm me. How did I become me?
Yeah.
Like, why wasn't I born into another body?
Yeah.
And then and if I wouldn't know my teacher. I wouldn't know my mom. I wouldn't know, like, I just was like, this is crazy. Like, I just could never, I'm like, how did I get to be this one?
Yeah.
And I used to always my twin was telling me, because we were brought up Quaker. So Quaker meetings, like you sit in silence. And then if you feel moved to speak, you stand up and you talk. And you can say anything. So I always fucking stood up, obviously. Like, hello. And I would pop up and he said that I would always say stuff like that. I'd be like, isn't it weird when you like wake up and you're you? He's like, you always had like the teacher's like, what the hell is she talking about?
Really?
Or just like, yeah, like I was always saying like, because I just couldn't, and I talk to people about it and nobody's like, I just assume that everyone is thinking that. Isn't everyone thinking like, how the fuck did I get in this body? No. And then you're like, I used to have like insecurities about my body. And I'm like, why was I given this? And then it's like, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Insecure? Why would I be insecure? Who cares? It's just number one, it's a naturally insecure situation to be in a body. Yeah. And because, well, it's gonna die.
It's gonna die. It's and
it
not just that,
and
but
stuff.
Yeah, and also you don't really know what happened before you were born. So yeah, it's a naturally being human is sort of a naturally insecure situation, but as part of the game, humans try to produce the illusion of security, life insurance, health insurance, even coffins. Yeah, their coffins waterproof. Yeah. Like it fucking matters that your coffin is leaking, but a human wants to imagine that they're in a secure situation.
But also that if you buy your coffin, right? And if you decide that you're going to have a waterproof coffin, then your decision is still alive after you're dead. That decision to have that coffin is going to outlive you.
The decision echoing underground forever and your like weird metal pill that just you all put trying your to live forever. In. Yeah.
I want to die. Like I do like, the more I think about it, this is not funny. Maybe it's funny. No, but I do like, I think about it. Like because I've been so focused and I have, I guess you would call it codependency. I try to not like have too many of the labels because I've been using that. I'm like, I don't know if that fits, but this idea of like looking outward. So it's almost like my dad's death has been this thing I've been like focusing on. So I guess to avoid my own mortality, maybe that's what it's about. But, the more hallucinogens I've done, psychedelics I've done, the more I'm like, oh, the cycle of life is like new growth has to come through. So I have to die for more to come. Like that's just a part of it. And the thing that seals me to everyone and that bonds me to everyone that makes me feel not alone is that I will die. Yeah. Like I will die, you will die, we'll die. That's like right. We're going to fucking die. There's no way that we're not the same. We're not in it.
That's how you can find compassion for anyone.
Mm-hmm. And that fucker behind me. I actually felt, he seemed like nice too. I was like, he's probably nice, like laughing at me, having a good night. Just like, look at this.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of the main ideas is to always remember death. And when I heard this when I was younger, I thought it was the most depressing and grim concept. But now I understand it. It wakes you up a little bit. There's another way to think of it that I like, which is there's a type of yoga in Tibet called the yoga of dreaming and sleep. And it mirrors a lot of the lucid dreaming stuff out there. It's a process that you can have a lucid dream. But the difference is in lucid dreaming, one of the ways you could have a lucid dream is you set your alarm for every hour and you look at your watch or your phone and you think, am I dreaming? And you look around and then you'll go, oh, no, I'm not dreaming. And then when you go to sleep, if you've done that long enough,
You start doing that in your dream.
and then you're like, oh, cool, I'm in a dream. And then you could lucid dream and have fun in your dream. This is almost identical. But instead of reminding yourself that you're not dreaming, it's an invitation to look around and realize this is a dream too.
Yeah. So you have the control of...
You start lucid dreaming while you're awake.
That's cool.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't really lucid live.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who are afraid of dying they're not really alive.
Yeah.
Because they're not really in control of anything.
Yeah.
In fact, most people are completely automatic. They're like on autopilot. Have you ever done those exercises to see how much you're in autopilot?
Mm-mm.
Like the next time you buy something, just watch the way you buy it. So watch how automatic it is to pull the card out of your wallet, swipe the card, the way you say thank you to the person, and then walk out. You realize this is exactly how you do that interaction over and over like a robot.
What happened to me yesterday? I'm in line at Trader Joe's. Some guy, he's buying a card for someone. He's behind me. And he goes to the guy, he goes, do you have a pen? The guy's like, I only have a pencil. And I went, you cannot write a card with a pencil, dude. That's so dick.
That's
like it's
sweet.
not committed enough. Like
up.
you gotta fucking commit with a pen.
Yeah.
And he goes, dude, I'm fucking tripping out. I go, what? And he goes, I talked to you in a line before. You talked to me in a line before in Boston at an airport.
What? There you go.
He's like, and I've seen you at the Comedy Store since. But it's like because when you were saying that in my head, I was going, yeah, but I'm different. Like, because I have conversations with everyone every time I have an interaction with money. I'm always like chatting with them about something. But that is my pattern. That's my automatic, is to be like, have like a full conversation with people that are trying to move along.
Well, that's really quite amazing. That means that's great.
I'm telling you, it's being written. It happened to be, one time I was
But it doesn't sound like you're repeating the same conversation. It sounds to me like in those situations, you're sort of not going into autopilot and you're engaging with a human. That's cool.
I love it. My dad taught me that because my dad, whenever I'm depressed, my dad's always like, just go out and talk to strangers. Like he knows that's going to make me. And then he's like, go talk to strangers. I'm like, that is how I got molested. You told me that a little too young, but
holy shit.
We probably should have waited until I was a little older. But no, it really is like the best advice. And my dad knows me so well. And I think that's what I'm so like afraid of losing, is like this like reflection of myself that I can touch right now. You know what I mean?
It's
and
so
it's just like,
hard
and he
on
just
you,
like, I just like to have this person that just gets it. My mom doesn't. She does a little bit, but like my dad, it's like we just are like that Donnie Darko like fucking thing to each other, like one thing to each other.
Isn't it scary? It's terrifying.
And I just know and it's like, I've done so much work on it and I'm in such a better place and he's getting so good with it. And the more like sort of death experiences I have through psychedelics and stuff, the more I'm like, oh, it's going to feel so good for you, Dad, to like fizzle out. Like it's not going to be, there's nothing to be afraid of, you know, it's like to me.
When my dad was dying, I called this, one of my friends. His name's Raghu Marcus. He runs Ram Dass's foundation. I've had him on my podcast a few times. And, I was freaking out. And
was this before or after your mom?
After.
But
I called him and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I just don't want him to suffer. He's suffering. I don't want him to suffer. I don't know what to do. And he was so cool because he got this. He's rarely like this with me, but he got this, someone helping someone defuse a bomb tone in his voice. And he's like, Duncan, listen to me. Take yourself out of it. Take yourself out of it. And it sounds kind of brutal, but it was exactly what I needed to hear, because what was happening was I was beginning to add my drama
to him,
to my
his experience,
father's
yeah.
letting go of his body.
Right.
And because of that, I was not being fully present for my dad.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the ideas when you're around not just dying people, it helps with living people too. The concept is, I think this was innovated by this Zen Roshi named Joan Halifax, who, this woman, oh my God, such a powerful being. And she works with dying people.
Mm-hmm.
She works with people who are dying alone, people who don't have a family, people who are in a hospice with nobody. And she has gone so far as when people are dying to hold them in her arms as they die. Very amazing person, very powerful person. But what she says is become a loving rock, which is a thing that they can hold on to if they need to, or they can push off from if they need to push off. So that by and this isn't a thing you could just do. It takes training. You can't just suddenly be a loving rock when the person you have known since you were took your first breath is temporarily leaving the part of the time-space continuum you're in. It takes work and practice to do this, but it is one of the great gifts that you can give someone. Is learning how to be with them when they die. Such a sweet thing to do. And also your father, your parents are involved.
They're so involved. Yeah, my dad is and I do worry. My mom is I should be worrying, not worrying, but I should be focusing a lot on my mom too, because just giving her some positive vibes, because she's just been with my dad the whole time, she just went right from her dad to my dad. It's she's never been alone. She said that I can't remember who I was driving with, but maybe my ex-boyfriend. My mom was just in the backseat and she went, I've never lived alone. And we're oh. I was it's the heaviest thing I've ever heard in my life. And you know, it's just it's a lot.
It's a lot.
And we all have to be with ourselves and get that sustenance from ourselves, because we will be alone,
Alone?
Yeah, you are alone in the sense your body will be alone at times.
Oh
you
my
can't,
God. It's a lonely situation.
Well, because I was born, I was in a womb with my brother, so I have had I really struggle with being alone.
Oh, you do?
A lot.
Yeah.
I just want to be squished up with someone all the time.
There is a fucking loneliness plague right now. It's a lot. People are very lonely right now because, well, I don't know the reason, but
maybe they're getting their interaction without touch.
Maybe that's it. But it's a real common struggle that's happening right now. It's it's a plague. It's something that people are studying. There's an outbreak of profound loneliness happening everywhere. People are really lonely, and that is such a fascinating predicament to find yourself in. It really is. I mean, this is the actually a good sign. Somewhat. Especially if you find yourself really lonely around people, because it means you're listening to yourself. You're tuning in.
Yeah, I feel like I've done a lot of really good work on myself. I feel like I'm really becoming.
You're working on
yourself. I feel really I don't know if happy is the right thing, or just I feel like I'm in the right spot. You know, and I feel like I realize every spot is the right spot, kind of.
Wow, that's it. Even yelling at some bastard in traffic.
It's hilarious. It's just everything. And I think that's why I like comedy so much, because it helped me kind of get to that faster, because I realized every humiliating moment could be a moment of joy later on stage. So I've not held on to humiliation for years.
That's great.
Years.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I got humiliated once in the past 10 years.
Well,
and I realized it was a weird trigger. I was this is something. This is a thing. Because I was why did I have such a immense, I just couldn't believe it.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're saying.
When something just gets you and you're what the hell is this?
Wow, look at this.
Where is that from? Yeah. It wasn't even the panic and everything. And then afterwards I was oh, that's exciting. That's a thing to think about.
It's so cool. Once you get yourself to that place, that's such a dreamy place to be in, because when you're not in that place, the inevitable appearance of catastrophe, whether it's being humiliated or whatever it may be, it feels like the universe is malfunctioning or you've done something wrong. But when you get to the place where you're like, oh, here is humiliation. Let me check this out. Like someone just mailed a scientist a nice envelope filled with a pure sample of liquid humiliation that you could then like look at it. What does it feel like to be humiliated?
Yeah, it was like a boiling. Like I could feel every like part of me. Like I was like boiling. I was like, and it was just so like, when do you feel that again? Like it's so hard. And I also had a thing where I was learning, I was really like traumatically triggered when the election happened, just everyone running around and it just like, I just was like, and I did a lot of work on handling my triggers, like breathing through them and stuff, like not, because I realized if I were to like lash out because I'm triggered, I'm now like causing harm to others, and that's not what I want to do. So I want to like handle myself. And there was a moment where I was working on this consulting on this movie, and we brought in a woman from, she works at like UCLA or something. She's like the head of the gender studies. And she was talking about some sort of rape trial situation. And she said something like, a lot of the women who want to hear more details in the story of a rape are women who were like, it was something where it was making me feel like, because I was a victim of something, that my opinion of wanting to hear a full story and hear both the man and the woman's side in it was bad or something. And I started to get very triggered. Like I was like in the room getting assaulted. You know what I mean? Like it was just like bad. And I felt myself boiling, and I just breathed it fucking down to regular temperature and was fucking fine. It was like crazy. I was like, God damn, dude. Like I couldn't, because I was about to like, this was like a big job. And I was like, am I about to fight this bitch? Like I was like, am I about to stand up and yell at this woman or walk out or have some like weird emotional reaction that makes everyone in the room fucking feel weird? Yeah. Which is also okay. I've done that a bunch of times, and it's like, that's, then maybe they learned something in that. But you know, professionally, like, can I just be a professional in this moment and just like, and just for my own sanity? But it felt so fucking cool. I was like so proud of myself.
Yeah. You know what keeps coming up that you're saying is, you're waking up. And it's cool. Like all those moments of not going into the automatic response. For me, I get angry. I get so fucking angry. And every time that takes me, nothing good ever comes of it. It doesn't accomplish anything that I would want to.
In it, you're like, I'm venting. It's like, what the fuck am I doing?
What's you were saying with alcohol, you're just sort of gone. Yeah. With anger, it's a similar situation for me. When it peaks, where even are you? Yeah. You're in defense mode, and you're usually doing something that in a vacuum, it would be almost like a seizure. But when you're around other people, it's scaring them, it's traumatizing them, it's making them judge you, it's producing all kinds of weird shit. This is not to say that anger's wrong, right? Or that
those moments are even bad or whatever. Yeah, they're just those moments.
And God knows if I'm to say that anger is wrong, then I have to hate myself. Yeah. So when I look back at all the times I've gotten angry, I have to find and I was going to tell you this. So you were talking about yelling at your mom in a Target. So one of my great regrets, when my mom had cancer, she was dying for like 4 years straight. And that was wild, because you go from the reality of non-dying parent, even though they are dying, just statistically,
but you see them,
to dying. To where she would, on the phone with me, she's like, this is what's going to kill me. And so that was 4 years. And no matter what's happening in your life that's great, there's a shadow over it, because it's coming. And any phone call from them goes from the normal kind of thing where your parents calling, you're like, oh boy, here we go, to like, oh fuck, what's this gonna be?
Every single call with my parents is like that, by the way. I pick up every time, like, what?
Yeah.
Because I've had the fear of it. That's so funny.
Right.
But
The
when you're like,
shadow. Yeah.
the realness of it.
The realness of it. And but it's true if your parents are old, it's similar, you know. Age does kill people. I can remember, I don't know, it's so selfish. I was having this great day. I was walking out of a Starbucks and my mom calls to tell me that, you know, the cancer is spreading into her bones. I think it was like, you know, the clock suddenly was going to speed up. And I just started screaming at her. It just exploded out of me. I couldn't stop. All the years and years of it. What? You're always dying. I can't. And she was so calm and so loving. And she goes, don't do this.
Yeah.
Don't do this. It was really beautiful. She completely forgave me. But I wish that I had been doing the work that you're doing right now prior to that.
Yeah.
So that when that was rising up in me, I had the ability to sort of produce enough space and not be reactive.
But think how strong that was that you can't not learn that lesson. Do you know what I mean? That was such an insane moment that you're never gonna, like, you learned. It wasn't like a late learning. You don't think you learned?
Listen, I wish I could say I did. No, fuck.
And
no.
also kind of like what I'm getting from that is like your mom's the shit. That's like, so it's what a special moment to have your mom be so like.
Yeah, it was.
Loving,
It was a special moment. And it was special in a way I don't want things to be special. But what I'm saying is I'm impressed with your lucidity, and for me, it's way more of a slow boil, which I don't feel guilty about. I mean, you know, have you ever heard the idea of how many times you reincarnate?
Mm-mm.
Oh man, it's pretty depressing, depending on your relationship with life. But the idea is, if you want to understand how long you've been coming back here to this particular dimension, maybe even in this current incarnation, imagine a dove flying over the Himalayas with a silk scarf in its beak, and the highest peak, the scarf touches the highest peak once every year. The amount of time it would take for that scarf to wear the highest peak to a valley is how long you've been coming back into the material universe. To put it into perspective, meaning there's not that big a hurry to get enlightened. It's that the idea is that
once you get enlightened, it's a wrap or what?
Well, it depends on what school of thought you're looking at it from. You know,
I'm cool with it. Listen, but isn't it weird how time works? Because this could be an hour. My whole life could be 1 hour. Sometimes it feels like my life has been like a million years. And then sometimes like, I think it's been 1 hour.
Yeah.
Like I was a baby, like at the turn of the, whatever time it is.
Well, it's a dream. It's
fucking weird.
The next time you have a really great dream, have you ever had a dream where you fall in love with someone? How about a sex dream?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you ever had a sex dream.
I'm a dude, and a lot of the times it's fucking fun.
Okay.
I know how to fucking handle a woman, I'll tell you that.
You do?
I know how to fucking serenade you, bitch. I kiss your neck.
You serenade women in your dreams?
I can fucking really lay it down to a chick in a dream.
Okay.
Well, it's me fucking myself is how I look at it.
Well, but
it's me giving it to myself.
In the dream, it's real.
Yeah.
And that person's real.
Yeah.
Very real.
I'm pounding down, dude.
But you wake up.
And
then you don't think about him ever again.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
If you do, it'd be weird. You might have to go to a therapist. If you were like, hey, I can't stop thinking about the woman I was fucking in my dream when I was a dude.
Yeah.
You just forget about it.
Yeah.
I think that's what death must be. And this whole thing is identical.
It's like,
yeah, you're just, if there is a moment of realizing that you're dying or have died, if there's some existence after death, which I think there is, I think it doesn't.
It's like,
There's a moment where you're like, oh, was that even real? And then suddenly you open your eyes and you're here.
Yeah.
And that's probably been going on forever.
Well, think about how many moments in our lives we don't remember that have just washed away.
That's right.
And we've just stuck to certain ones, right?
Yeah.
But then all those other, like, how long can you hang? And I'm shedding memories every day. right? So I'm just shedding some like, oh, I don't need that anymore. That's not going to like help me moving forward. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Or like that doesn't serve me. Or maybe just my head can only have so many and it just goes.
You know what it's called? Non-continuity of self. So one of the like implicit problems of being human is we do not have a continuous self, but we don't want to think about that. So the very fact that we have massive holes in the thing we call our identity is so horrifying that we try not to think about it. We imagine that there's some substance to our...
We give ourselves like a through line.
That's it.
Yes.
We make the through line after the fact.
Yeah.
To the point where there's a great... and it's not great, it's a horrific thing that can happen to people is that they lose short-term memory. So they get hit in the head and they no longer have short-term memory. And that means they can remember their past, but they have no idea what just happened. It's all gone.
Do they remember it later on?
No. I mean, if you see anyone who's had a concussion, one of the common things is they keep saying, where am I? Who are you? What happened?
But will they remember that moment when that's a long-term
Well, it
memory?
depends on if you get hit in the head, then yeah, hopefully you'll come back. But some people, there's
I
cases...
feel like we know a lot of squishy heads.
Squishy heads.
We know a lot of people with some fish swimming around up there.
Sure. I could be one of them.
I mean,
But short-term memory is like a fascinating thing.
Yeah.
And so this is one of the wild things. And there's a case when I was studying psychology of the person had no short-term memory. They would put a Coca-Cola in front of them and they would just start drinking it. And they'd say, where'd you get the Coke? And they would go, oh, well, I got up and went to the Coke machine and put quarters.
they just made it up.
Because their mind
Remembers doing that at one point?
their mind, it's like the computer is malfunctioning. It can't understand how a Coke just appeared in front of you.
So it just makes up a...
Yeah.
Oh, that's scary,
It just
dude. How many
makes it
times did we
up.
just make that shit up?
Yeah. Well, that's what the universe is doing with our lives, maybe.
Wow.
The whole thing is just a sort of dream that the infinite is having to produce a rationalization for its own existence. And which means that if it's a dream, it's really quite promising if you want to stay here. So to answer your question, with enlightenment or whatever that may mean, I don't know. There's lots of stories about it, but the concept would be that the dream that we keep having over and over again, we stop having it. You know, we're done with that. We wake up, so to speak, but we really
that's
wake
cool.
up. Come to. We stop doing this thing where we sort of human beings.
So like dying is us waking up. Ooh, I like that.
Dying is not necessarily us waking up, actually.
But I like that. It's mine now.
Yeah, it's yours. You can have it.
Got it.
Yeah, that's.
And
certainly
now
not
we're going to do
mine.
the segment of the craziest tweet of the week. Just kidding.
Oh,
I'm just
cool.
trying to prove why segments would be fucking weird. Go ahead.
Oh, that.
Imagine like, and now we're doing silly tweets.
No. Listen. See, and also you can do segments after the fact. I think segments are fun. I do them on my podcast sometimes randomly just for fun.
Yeah.
Highly-
I like random segments for sure.
Yeah.
The idea of being like, I must plug into this now, this, then this. I'm like, I'm turning this. My whole life has been me trying to not do homework. And now I've just turned my sweet, beautiful, free life into homework.
No, don't do that.
I'm
Make
always
this easy.
doing that. I'm always like, homework. Yeah.
Just make it fun.
Yeah.
Don't let them box you in. If you
Who's
want-
they?
I don't know.
There's always a they. I'm like, they're not there.
There's no they.
Well, I do want to I want to entertain. I want people to enjoy, but I guess the people that enjoy will enjoy and the other ones will shed the fuck out.
Well, I mean, it's a podcast.
Yeah.
I always, with my podcast, sometimes when I'm getting really frustrated because the dog's barking or whatever, I'll have to remind myself, who do you think you are? Pink fucking Floyd? You think you're recording some like Led Zeppelin track right now? It's a podcast.
I know.
You know what I mean? It's just a podcast. Not to say that it should suck,
right.
but if you get too caught up
Right.
in imagining people watching a podcast have the same expectations for your podcast that they have for like a Stanley Kubrick film or something, then you're too much in your head. It should just be fun.
This is a Terrence Malick, by the way. We're
Yeah.
going as we go.
This is all scripted. Took me
Yeah,
6
guys.
months to
this
memorize
is so
this
weird. This
shit.
is being directed. It's actually Anthony Hopkins has come back to life. That's actually who Anthony is. Is
Yeah.
Anthony Hopkins dead? He's dead. No?
I mean, we're all dead. Didn't we come to that?
Anthony Hopkins is dead. Let's start the rumor. Go.
Well, eventually that
Yeah.
will seem like you were right.
Yeah, it really depends on when you're watching this.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to kill him, by the way. This is not me doing a spell on him, I promise.
I can't believe Steven Spielberg's dead.
Oh my God, I know.
That's interesting. We could mourn every famous person
wait.
right now.
Should we give it a date? That's fucked up.
Yeah, no, you don't date it, Jesus. But you'll seem prophetic.
Yeah. Who is Tom Hanks had a good one.
Yeah, it's so sad.
Oh, it's a bummer, dude. I liked him on that island.
Amazing.
It's weird Wilson outlived him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That beach ball.
That
was
ball
it beach
always,
ball?
yeah,
Volleyball.
volleyball. What was that?
So fucking weird. That weirded me out about that movie. Also, it was like a 3-hour FedEx commercial. It was, right? Like that was funded by FedEx. Like FedEx came to Tom Hanks and they're like, listen, we want to do the longest commercial of all time.
We want to give you dreads, dude.
Do you remember though, like the lines in the FedEx, the FedEx, by the way, are we out of time here? I don't know if like how long this
I don't care how long this is. Do you have to go anywhere?
So like there are lines in there that are like FedEx, we pride ourselves on always being on time. Like those are the lines in the movie. But
the message of the movie was pretty good.
The message was great.
Where it's like, your life goes on without you, bitch.
Yeah, that's right.
Sorry.
That's right.
Sorry your plane went down. Your wife married someone else.
Yeah.
You're done.
But, to get the FedEx planes and shit, they supervise the script. Like when you're making a movie and you want to get a bunch of FedEx shit, you have to talk to FedEx. Like I was watching The Walking Dead once and all of a sudden the lines reminded me of a military recruitment commercial. They were talking about joining the ROTC or why it was so great or something.
Oh my God. You're like, why is this happening?
I was like, wait, what is this? So I looked it up. If you want to use military equipment in your movie
you
or
have
TV,
to mention.
Well, if you want their equipment,
right.
They'll give it to you for free. But there's a branch of the Army that looks at scripts and inserts recruitment, subliminal recruitment lines.
That's like a pretty sweet job.
Yeah,
I'm in the Army. What did you do? Did you shoot people? No, I did supervise some scripts though.
Oh right, yeah, that's the front line.
I'm a hero. I have my medal and shit. I get on the plane first and shit.
Put me there.
That's a good
Not
one.
fucking Baghdad. I want to be looking at shitty scripts.
This is a way better life.
Yeah.
I was watching a movie with my friend and we were watching the Knives Out movie where it's like a murder mystery.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And they set up all of everyone could have killed this guy. And so I fell asleep. I don't know what happened, but we ruled one guy out because he was wearing an Apple Watch. And my friend knows that you can't have a bad guy using Apple products.
Oh my God.
So now we know he didn't fucking do it.
That's not just a spoiler for that movie, but it's a spoiler for any movie that's
ever.
That's so fucked up.
And Steve Jobs lives on through that. And he'll live forever.
That was his wish?
No, I don't know. But wouldn't that be funny?
Whoever came up with that at Apple is a dick.
It's a dick move.
Yeah, stop.
It's so controlling. You say, we're the good ones.
So
Fuck you.
dumb.
Also, your technology could be creating a lot of evil.
Give me of course it
Obviously.
is. Yeah.
Your fucking Apple Watch.
Stop.
Probably been on the hand of people jerking off kids. How about that?
Jesus, Annie?
Yes, I said it. I thought it the whole time.
Oh my God.
Tits.
No.
Said it.
What the fuck is it? What is this?
You don't run me.
I don't run you, but wow. Fuck.
Oh my God. So how old's your kid?
No,
we're done. We're segueing.
I'm not talking about my
new
fucking
segment.
kid.
New segment.
No, it isn't.
Kids Corner.
No, Kids Corner. Fuck that. P.S. The CIA has a Kids Corner. Have you ever looked it up? CIA.gov?
No. Kids Corner?
You gotta look it up. It's oh my God. Then you have to check it out. It's like one of my favorite late night activities is going on CIA, the CIA.gov, and going through their archives because they have all the Freedom of Information Act shit on there.
So you can just see anything?
Oh yeah, and they just put it out there.
It's just videos of kids?
Annie?
What is Kids
It's
Corner?
not videos.
I'm
of
scared. I
kids.
got scared.
You're gonna get in trouble.
No, I'm trying to help.
Whatever. No, it's like the CIA trying to indoctrinate kids.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Where it's like it says government, but like the G's backwards. They always spell things backwards for kids.
Exactly.
Yeah, you little
Yeah.
ding dongs. You're not smart enough to know this is the direction a G goes in.
Yeah.
Toys R Us are
It's
always
so
backwards.
cool.
Come on.
Many people think the CIA is only spies, but there's more to us than that.
Spy Kids. That's what Spy Kids is.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I love that. I highly recommend going on the CIA's website, checking it out. It's so funny and it's like so brilliant because instead of trying to hide shit, they just put it out. Like they put it out there that they use remote viewing. They put it out there that they spent countless millions of dollars on some of the most bizarre research that they don't say on there whether or not they figured out if it worked. They taught people how to do remote viewing so that they could like spy on people psychically. And a lot of those people who did it got cancer.
Indigo kids.
Yeah, they're trying to recruit indigo kids.
They probably would be, no?
Well, I don't know.
Little psychics.
You'll never know what the fuck they're doing. I mean, they're too
Cancer's
good
an interest. So did both of your parents have cancer?
No, just my mom.
Oh. And your dad was terminally ill?
Yeah.
He was suffering.
COPD.
What is that?
It's like what they used to call emphysema.
Oh. So, but was his caused by actions in his life? Was he a smoker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was caused by that.
It's so interesting. My landlord or the manager of the building, I dislike him because he's sexually harassed me a bunch and tried to kiss me and stuff, and it's so gross.
That's so
but
fucked
he
up.
has cancer. He's like dying of cancer, and I've always been kind of like weighing this thing where I'm like,
Still
and then
not okay.
yeah, it's not. No, it's definitely not okay. But I'm like, in terms of like forgiveness is from afar because you've leaned in too many times. You've leaned in too much.
that he lives in.
But they're buying the building. Okay, someone else bought the building.
Oh, great.
And he doesn't have a lease, so now they're kicking him out right before. So now the universe is giving me this thing to be like have pure compassion for this pervert.
Whoa.
So now he's not gonna have anywhere to live in like 2 months.
Yeah.
That's fucking sad. But also, you did touch my mouth with your mouth.
Ooh.
So gross.
Well, that's one of my favorite verses in the Bible. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. You know,
It is.
anytime you want to get revenge on somebody, for example, I have many friends who are so fucking mad at the TSA. You go to the airport, they're fucking pissed at these people.
Yeah.
And they say, snarky shit to
It's
them.
so funny. These people by the way, they have to repeat the exact same thing all day.
Exactly.
Those poor, so I always am like, this must be rough. They're like, it sucks. And nobody listens. So they're going like, please take this out, please take this out. And then nobody's taking that out. And they have to go, you have to take that out. Do you know how annoying that must be?
It must be incredible.
And everyone's taking out their travel anxiety on them, everything.
Yeah.
They're late, they're mad.
Yeah.
That's it. They got shot up once.
You
Somebody
can't-
came in and shot the TSA.
They get shot up. What I'm saying is, if you're mad at the TSA, you have revenge. That's their job.
Yeah, totally.
You
yeah.
can't do worse to them.
Yeah.
You know, like how bad it sucks to drive to LAX? Mm-hmm. They do that every
day.
fucking day. What are you going to do? Like,
They have those little uniforms too. It's a nightmare.
a nightmare.
It's a nightmare.
What are you going to do that's going to make it worse? You're going to say some shitty thing to them? They have to eat at the airport every day. And the diseases they get exposed to. Just having
People take their shoes off. They have to smell your socks like the whole day.
They're familiar with the stink of travelers' socks. They probably go home and smell like feet and sneezes.
I try to be nice to those people.
Yeah, if you're gonna do anything, like be compassionate.
Ignore or nice.
Yeah, you don't have to fucking attack them. This message was brought to you by the CIA.
Yes,
I have to
Kids
say that
Corner.
on every podcast.
Kids Corner.
Check out the CIA Kids Corner and be nice to the TSA.
This is a
Do what
the
they
CIA
say,
gave
gang.
us this cup for free. It's a special CIA cup.
Look, they're not all bad. They did make some mistakes in the past, but it's a new CIA, and we want to invite you to check out CIA.gov. They're actually hiring right now for a variety of positions.
Under 12, years under 12.
Yeah, they've got jobs for kids under 12 to kids of all ages.
Yeah.
Whatever you're interested in. By the way, it's not all spy stuff. Some of it is just basic stuff, like looking at scripts of
You
podcasts.
can look at the scripts of podcasts.
Yeah. Infiltrating various like communities, influencers, pre-influencers. If you're an influencer, we're really interested in working with you to help us.
Influencer is so funny, by the way.
What's that?
Influencer is the
Influencers?
funniest thing that's happening.
Oh my God, the term is fascinating.
It's so funny.
Influencer.
People just say it regular too. They're like, I'm an influencer. That's the part that's scary.
You've heard someone say that?
You want to be secret. If you think you're an influencer, that should be your deepest, darkest
Have you heard
secret.
someone say that?
Yeah, they're young though.
You heard someone say, I'm an influencer?
Mhm.
Wow. That's
It's their
trippy.
job.
Wow.
And then they go around trying to get free stuff. I met this guy who I guess owns a bunch of businesses, and he was saying that he's like, yeah, influencers all like DM me and try to get like free. I never do that stuff because that seems insane. But
It's
I guess
so
you get a
tacky.
free hotel, but it's weird.
Ugh.
It's so weird. Like I have a friend that's like, she's like, oh, this girl has like way less followers. She gets all this free stuff. I'm like, yeah, but at what cost is she getting that?
Maybe none. Are we fucking up?
I think about it, I'm like, should I be like, but I do think I'm gonna get sponsored by Juicy. If I bring Juicy back, I mean,
You should
I want to be wearing full Juicy tracksuits every fucking
That's
day.
cool.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
approach him.
No, we're in talks.
Are you really?
Yeah.
I did that. You know what? I was watching, this is not a commercial, okay?
This is a segment.
This is a segment or whatever. I was watching, I sound like such a shill, but I was watching Shudder, like the horror movie
haven't seen
stream. It's the best. It's like a curated horror movie thing. I love horror movies.
Yeah.
And then I had my podcast network reach out to them. I'm like, do they want to sponsor me? And they did, which is cool. And I don't know. To me, it's okay. It's okay.
If it's what you like,
rave
if it's a
about
thing,
shit you like.
Yeah.
You know?
Because I do that for free all the time. Like if when I did Rogan's podcast, he didn't have the caveman coffee out, and I already had a coffee, and I made them bring Tate's coffee out. I was like, I'm putting
That's
Tate's
cool.
coffee on there. That's my boy. Like it's fun, like wearing people's merch and stuff.
I had my people reach out to the CIA.
Dude,
I was like, I love your website. I love the archives.
are your
Is there
people
any way I
your
can help?
son? You had your
What?
son call them?
I had my son
like, blink, blink,
telepathically
blink,
call
blink.
the CIA. You ever look into that MK Ultra shit? You ever look
No.
that stuff up? You don't know about that stuff?
No.
You should check it out.
There's so many
sometime.
things I don't know. I'm interested in, every time I see you, I corner you, I come to you.
We have great talks.
It's so fun. It's so fun.
It's the best.
But you do open up a little, like I go, oh, I want to know that now. I'll look into that. You're what I would call an influencer.
I'm an influencer. I can stay at any Best Western I want for
Dude,
half price.
you can have anything I
It's
got.
incredible.
You
Guys,
can-
Best Western, check them out. Their buffet is amazing.
It's so good.
And this week at Best Western, use offer code Duncan, and you will get 15% off of your frozen pizza. They have frozen pizzas.
at night for late night eating.
Yeah, delicious. Fuck room service.
Now, when you're on the road and you're staying in a shitty place, when you're on the road in that arena, which is what I'm in, where you stay at a bad place, do you go down and you're like, can I get the Hot Pocket at night?
Oh yeah.
I'm like, let me get that Hot Pocket. The things I choose, like I go crazy.
When I was doing that,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah, let me get that Hot Pocket.
it's awful.
I'm like, ooh.
I don't like it. When I go on the road, I get too self-destructive. It's so
it's
fucked
horrific.
up. This is why right now why I'm fat is it's not just that, but it's like a combination.
You
of
don't
that.
look fat.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. I wasn't fishing for. I don't. Again,
Honestly, you look like you've been writing so much.
keto. I'm doing keto.
Are you really doing keto?
Yeah, I've got to like. I'm trying. I have
It's just it's like nuts and oil.
no
and
sugar.
food and
No sugar.
there was no sugar in the almond milk.
Oh,
There's
fuck,
none.
I
No, there's
forgot.
none. I just want to let you know.
Thank you for letting me know because I completely forgot.
You are on your diet still.
Oh, good. Yeah, it's no sugar. You just stop eating sugar.
It feels good to not eat sugar too.
Fuck yeah, it does.
I was on this plane. I've told this story before. It's so hilarious. I might have even told it to you, but I had bombed a full weekend at Foxwoods in
remember you
Connecticut.
telling me about that.
And the guy next to me was he was like, "What's wrong, little girl? I'm crying." And he goes,
He said little girl.
"No, but I mean, I was being like a small child.
Okay.
I was like, meh." He was like he was just like a grown up, you know, because like, and what's wrong? And I told him I bombed at my comedy show, and then he was like.
Oh.
And then he was like, I was like, well, what do you do? And he goes, oh, I'm an African. I was born in Africa. And then I got on a program where I got to be educated in France. And then I became a doctor and I came back to Africa to save AIDS babies pretty much. It was the funniest thing that's ever happened to me in my life. Like, it was so funny. Like, he just listened to my whole thing like this. And he goes, I think, you know what I would suggest? I would suggest that you think about things outside of yourself a little bit. Like he was like, go like do something for someone else. And I was like, that is what comedy is. You don't get me, Sam.
Yeah, no
But-
shit.
But it was a little condescending, but it was still funny. And then he started talking about sugar. He's like, my one advice as a doctor is don't eat sugar. He's like, if you could see what the sugar, they bleach it because there's blood in it. And there's like, they're just gathering.
Blood?
Yes, because there's like rodents and stuff in it. And like, he was just like, he was
sugar
like,
rats?
Yeah, he's like, that's why they bleach it because it's so disgusting. All the stuff that gets in it. Yeah, so don't eat sugar. That's what he said.
I've heard the same thing about cocaine.
Maybe that was what he meant. And he didn't want to say it.
He's probably a drug smuggler.
This guy's a
just
fucking liar,
What
dude.
a fucking dick.
Maybe he was at the show and saw me bomb was fucking with me the whole
He's just
time.
fucking. No, there's a philosopher named Schopenhauer. You ever heard of him?
Mm-mm.
This is this is paranoia, not pronoia. But basically, he said, one of his, like, I guess you could call it a thought experiment. I'm remembering from when I took philosophy in college, which was a long time ago, but this stuck with me because it's so dark. But what he said was, it's impossible to have a good life because you're in hell. This is hell.
Yeah.
And anyone around you that seems like they're having a good life is a, quote, decoy duck that has been placed there by Satan to torture you.
Ooh, that's fun.
That's a demon.
That's really
like
fun.
Satan sent a demon to sit with you just to taunt you. So that this is the opposite. Don't do this. Don't go down this path, friends. It's just a fun thing to think about, though. Like anytime you meet someone who's particularly successful that you're comparing yourself to, they're not even real. It's something generated by the simulator to give you the impression.
Ali Wong. Just kidding. What if that was my...
You compare
She's
yourself-
not, No, I'm just kidding. I just trying to think of someone.
She's funny.
I love Ali. No,
Yeah.
Ali's good. Ali, you're not real.
Is she Ali Wong? Or yeah.
I will. You know what I will? I do use her as an example of the level of success I would want to be at before I had a kid.
Right.
If I'm going to have a kid.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I do not want to have a kid at this level.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't want to, I just don't want to do it.
Oh no, you got to listen to that.
I feel that.
Yeah, listen to that.
Yeah.
That's real.
I opened for Louis last week, and he was like, he said to me, have you hung out with him?
No, I haven't gotten lucky.
He's
enough to
very, he just speaks the way he speaks all the time. So it's always like this sort of like, he's giving like some sort of like existential advice or some advice or what. He's just really, it's very fun and fruitful to hang out with him. Like
I bet.
he gives you like knowledge, but this was one I didn't take. I go, yeah, he was like, I love how much you talk about your dad because I have my daughters and stuff and it's just really nice. And I was like, yeah, I hope I get to have kids. I hope I get that experience if that's what happens or whatever. He goes, he goes, well, why? And I go, well, I would need to be at a certain level of success for myself to be where I would feel comfortable. And I would need to find like a partner I would want to have a kid with and all that stuff. And he goes, don't look at it like that. He goes, I just say like, there's an old adage that someone had said to him where it was like, every kid is born with a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
And he's like, you'll find them. And I go, hey, Louis, take your fucking loaf of bread, shove it up your, like, no, dude, like, that's not sure, but I have like a thing I love that I want to be able to cultivate, and I would need it to be at a place where I could do both, is how I feel.
Well, yeah, you need that. And I agree with him on one level. It's such a really sweet, brilliant thing to say. And it's such a great prescription for a certain type of life.
Yeah.
That's fucking cool. I mean, that is the least cowardly thing to say. I mean, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a wild person who would say a thing like that.
Yeah.
And I love it. I'm not that measured, or I'm more measured than that because
Right.
I mean, the baby, not to be cliche, was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
And because you have to make a decision. You have to reprioritize. Like you have to think what's important here in this dream that we're in.
Right.
If there is something important in the dream, what is it? And it's for me, this has got this little being that completely depends on me.
Cute.
Yeah, beautiful little boy.
Looks like you?
Looks like
your parents?
my dad.
Yes, that's exciting. See,
Yeah.
that's why I want to have a kid. Keep my dad alive forever.
Well, that is the wildest. I mean, that is where you really, really realize the situation we're in.
Yeah.
They echo through time genetically. He makes faces my dad made.
Yeah.
His hair is like my dad's. He's like, it's just an amazing thing to see. It's beautiful too. But I think there is something to be said for listening to yourself and your instincts. And God damn it, especially when it comes to parenting, Because when you were having a baby, thinking about having a baby, talking about having a baby, and I guess I'm guilty of it right now, so I'm a fucking hypocrite. Because I suppose this is a form of advice.
That's okay.
Everybody wants to give you some fucking advice about it. Everybody. We're in the fucking grocery store. My wife's pregnant. She's about we're probably weeks away from having a baby. Some fucking woman behind us, unsolicited advice, just starts telling her some crazy shit like, you should be taking cold baths. Yeah. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? We didn't ask for that shit. Or you get around people.
How nice is that of her though?
Not nice.
Think about it. She thinks that that's something that's going to make your wife happier.
Oh yeah,
it's sweet.
You're right.
She's like, I want to interrupt these people and just give them this thing that helped me.
You've got a great therapist. I got to get your therapist.
There's
number.
no therapist.
You don't have a therapist?
I listen to therapy podcasts and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, I just listen to stuff all the time.
That thing you just told me. This is one of my friends. Her husband went out to get groceries, and was you know where Swingers is?
Oh, I hate this story.
He was going across the crosswalk and he got hit by a car and died on the street.
Yeah.
And so her life, talk about dreams. Yeah. Her life went from this love of her life to complete realization of the impermanent nature of the universe. And we were sort of talking about grief. And one of the things she said to me was just what you said, which is, I have gotten to the point when someone comes up to me with their grief advice, that even though in the moment it's making my blood boil, I have to realize why they're telling me that. It's because they don't want me to be in pain. Yeah. So that's very sweet. That's a sweet, because when shit like that's happening to me, I'm like, shut the fuck up. No one wants to take cold baths. The opposite would be
so psychotic, that she's just going around trying to interrupt people and put something weird on them. That was crazy.
Well, look,
right?
I'll tell you this.
But it could be.
I don't know. She could have been a witch. You know what I mean? We don't know who this is.
I honestly imagined her looking like a witch.
Yeah. She could be some dark witch from the fruit section who gets in line when there's pregnant people and tells them to take baths.
You ever meet people that project shit on you so negative, where they're they take something you did that was obviously out of kindness in your head and they turn it negative, they come at you and you go, whoa. Or in the opposite sense, where you find out someone was talking shit on you when you thought they were saying nice things about you. Yeah. That's when I'm always that's how you are. Right. I'm nice. So I try to just see niceness coming. I want people to be happy and feel good. And I don't want to cause harm for people. So I assume people are coming at me that direction. I try to, if I'm being in alignment with that, that's what I'm seeing coming at me. Right. Yeah. When people are out of alignment with that, where they're not sure, and it's a weird competitive business we're in and stuff. So I can understand where people are I'm trying to get ahead or whatever. But I've had this with female comedians before, where it's I'm like, oh my God, you were after me? Yeah. You were fucking after me, bitch? I didn't even assume that. Or them thinking I'm after them. I'm like, that's because you're after me, bitch. I'm not after you.
I know it's good to identify and forget.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they get you. That's a shocking moment when you suddenly realize oh God, that person hates me. Yeah. That person has
you just have no clue. I'm like, oh my God, I just didn't have that feeling towards you, so I didn't assume it was.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God.
You're like, whoa, you are spending time when I'm not around thinking about me in a dark way.
But when it's from women too, it makes me feel really hot. I go, I must be so pretty. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so pretty. Yeah. Are you thinking about me at night? I'm fucking so hot.
Pronoia. There you go.
I'm the hottest.
That's how you do it. Well, I'll tell you this. When I'm listening to comics talk shit about somebody, it's very rare that person is not successful. Yeah. Usually when people are coming up, that's when the shit talking starts. That's what I've noticed. It's if the shit talking comics, the moment somebody gets some special or this or that, right? That's when the fucking tweets start going, or the texts start going around. But it's look, motherfucker, while you're texting shitty things about this person,
they're working.
Whatever they're doing is seemingly exceeding whatever you're doing. For whether there's, and I guess you're going to say there's injustices in the universe. But when for me, when I see a comic on TV, I'm capable of looking at their comedy and thinking, well, this isn't for me. Right. But that doesn't mean it's bad. Right. It's just, on TV, and they did something.
Also,
right?
if I feel a trigger, like if I'm like, oh, fuck that person, or like if I feel that where I'm like, oh, they don't deserve that, I got to look at them and be like, what did they do that I'm not doing?
Yeah.
Like, is there something in this? Like, what is this about me? Because it's me saying, having these thoughts, right? Like, do I hate their comedy and think it's hurting people? Fuck no. I don't have that thought about people where I'm like, that comedy should not be out there. I do not think like that. So it has to be something I'm jealous of or something that like I'm not doing that's being like pushed at. You know what I mean?
Yes. This, for me, is one of the signs that I am not writing. I'm not going to the gym.
Yeah.
Because if I'm shit talking and it's crept in.
It's fun though.
It's fun, but it's, you know what? One of my friends is a Satanist, and he is just brilliant. And one of the things he says is, Mitch Horowitz is his name. He's brilliant. He's been on my podcast a few times, but one of the things he says is, if you want to fuck your life up, start talking shit about anybody else.
Well, just throw you down, and your focus is on another thing, and you're a negative thing.
But can I tell you a scarier reason why? So the idea behind this particular reason for not shit talking is that if you even are thinking shitty things about someone, then if it's that person doesn't take in your shitty thoughts, they essentially like those shitty thoughts manifest in you. Basically,
they grow in you.
Yeah, exactly. They don't take root in that.
So it bounces back into you.
It's literally, I'm rubber, you're glue. But yeah, but so the reason, which is why it's if you start praying for people, I don't think he would say pray for.
I love when people say that, by the way. When people go, I'll pray for you, and they say it condescending, I'm like, thank you. I'm always like, that is so sweet.
Yeah, well, that is the way your life will really get better quick if you just start sending out good.
Yeah.
Not. By the way, all of us have people that we dislike and think shitty things about, whether you like it or not. You can't help it. In the same way you can't help it if like you fart or something.
Yeah.
It's in us. It's like saliva.
Yeah.
Part of us thinks shitty things. But if you just start thinking about people you love and praying for them in whatever way you pray, it doesn't have to be like Jesus prayers. I mean, like send out signals of, I want you to be great. I want you to be happy. Your life right away gets better.
Yeah.
I've noticed this. And this is the main thing. It is very rare to run into, and maybe you've had a different experience, super successful people that talk shit. Usually when you're around super successful people, you will find their shit talking is a tiny, tiny percentage of what they talk about. They're always talking about, like, one thing I've noticed is they're always giving to people. They're always like, here's something. Can I make breakfast for you? Do you want to go to eat? Can I buy you dinner? Here, I'm going to sit once I got in the mail, because I talked to my friend who's like super successful about cooking. And then just suddenly in the mail, there's a cookbook that he sent. You know what I mean? And then you're like, oh, fuck. I bet he's doing this for everybody. That is the way to be, I would say. But whenever I'm around someone who ain't doing that great, a lot of the times they're shit talking.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm talking about? They've got like 7 people they're talking shit about. They've got 7 people they think
it's that like revolving target. I had a friend, it's so funny, I had a falling out with a friend of mine. And everyone, when we became friends, they placed bets on when we would stop being friends. And I was like, I said to her, I was like, people are placing bets. I just want to let you know, like, I'm in my 30s. I work on myself. Like, if you ever have, because I've had those like girlfriend fallouts that are so weird and toxic and like, it's so silly, like when you look back on it. But I was like, I'm never having one of those again. I'm like, so you can come to me with anything. I will try it on. Anything.
Wow.
And then she ended up friend dumping me, blocked me on everything because that's the only way she could. I gave her an open avenue. And it was so funny. I was so mad. And then I realized she had a revolving target the whole time. The way we became friends is we hated the same people.
There you go.
Like, it was like, I was like, of course she was going to do this to me. Like, am I crazy? I thought I was going to be better than every human that we'd ever talked about. Like, we were shit talkers together. And I got mine. And I'm glad to not be friends with her, not in a shitty way towards her, but.
Well, it's good.
She's a talented girl, but.
You know the term coven? Mm-hmm. So a coven of witches?
Yeah.
So you could say there's white magic and there's black magic, you could say. It's not necessarily true, but you could say that just as a term of convenience. And so one of the things in magic that you could do is you can curse or you can bless. So it's interesting how we have, like, we call it curse words. For example, the T word, tits, is a curse word.
I can't believe you said it again.
But also, well, I'm hoping you bleep it out.
Yeah.
But when whether you want to admit it or not, when you're shit talking someone, you're doing magic. You're cursing them. You are behind the scenes, like a little termite, trying to sort of erode the social network around them to bring them bad fortune. You might as well be like sacrificing an animal and pouring blood on their picture and burning their hair. In fact, talking shit is a little bit more effective than that. And the risk in doing that is that because you are cursing, we're in a reflective universe, meaning that that's definitely coming back on you. There's just no way to avoid it. Not Mitch, but a different friend of mine who's a Satanist. I was so mad years and years ago, and I was like, I want to curse this person.
Yeah.
And a real, like, familial Satanist looked me in the eye and said, don't curse. Don't do curses. It's really, really bad to do that. Don't do that. It's risky. Even if it works, it's not going to get what you want.
Right.
He said, if you really want to hurt your enemies, become successful.
Yep.
And that is the most disastrous thing you
I
can
know.
do
And
for them.
indifference to them, like when you get over people, it kills them. I had this boyfriend. Oh my God. He cheated on me. And I was upset at the time just because I'm allergic to condoms. So I was like, you're just fucking giving me whatever this bitch has. And just the lying of it. But I wasn't like in love with, like, I was upset, we weren't that serious. And then years later, he comes back to me. He's like, I've done all this work on myself and I can't believe what I did to you. And I hurt you. And I went, oh, was never in love with you. It's fine. And it was true. It wasn't to hurt him that I was saying that. I was being honest. I've never seen someone like crumble in my eyes. Like, it was like the most revenge I could have ever gotten. It was just like, oh no, it's okay. Like, whatever.
But it was the reason
it was totally true. I mean, it wasn't even fake, but it was like,
there wasn't anger behind it.
Yeah. And he was just so like, it was just so funny. Like, but to get over people, like I struggle. I have like this friendship that keeps going on and off. And it's like, the advice I get from her is like, you need to just be like, hey, when you see this person and move on. Like, you got to stop getting drawn in. Because it's the drama of it that I'm always getting drawn into.
Yeah.
And it distracts me from my work. It's always when I'm like doing well or something, this person comes at me with something.
Right.
And it's like this weird lesson. And I don't know if he's timing. I don't think he can time it. But it's like maybe the universe being like, you got to not like fuck this person, they're a piece of shit, but just like, this person is just a person and you're no longer letting them be the person that is more important than your work or more important. Because it's all the fucking time. I'm like, again?
Yeah, but that's just like a trick if you want to procrastinate. It's like,
yes, exactly.
It's not their fault. I'm not
No,
saying,
I don't think it's his fault. I think it's like it's just the timing of it is always so like, obviously this lesson for me, like, just do your work, bitch.
Right. I've gotten caught up in those kinds of things many times, and I like them when they
it's fun. It's
why do we love vampire movies?
Yeah.
Like, when you watch vampire movies, it's not like the vampires are like, they're seductive.
Yeah.
There's something really, and being seduced is fun.
Yeah.
And especially being seduced by someone who's using you, and you realize you're getting sucked into like a self-destructive thing by a person who's like intentionally trying to drain your energy. Somehow there's something in that that's really like awesome. You're like, wow, I'm really in your track with me, man. This is incredible. You do this. And then they do it on purpose. So there's an intentionality.
Yeah.
And then at that point, you're no longer a victim. You're just into this like bizarre BDSM.
It's a dance, dude. A dance.
Yeah, but you could this is the good news is like there's all kinds of like sex dungeons all over LA. You can go and pay for that.
Yeah.
So you don't have to like if you're not paying for it, it doesn't end.
It's so that's true.
You need to like that's why
I can't even. It's the situation's so like I don't even want to bring it up. It's so silly, but it's so silly that I do want to bring it up. My friend goes, I heard from 2 people you were talking shit on me, and I went, what did I say? He goes, I can't tell you. I go, what? I go, well, what was it? I want to apologize. It's obviously an issue I have with you or something. And I was sworn to secrecy. And I went, what? I went, but what is it? And he goes, you're too worried about who the person is. I go, I've never mentioned the person. It's our relationship. What? He goes, I'm not telling you. You just want to know who I go, what the fuck are you talking? I do not care who this person is. I would not be mad at them if I said something, I will stand behind it, and I will stand behind the action of saying it, and I will explain to you what I was feeling at the moment I said it. I don't care. I'm not mad. If that person told you, they told you. They have free will to tell you what I said.
Yeah.
He's like, you're so mad. I'm like, I never said that. And once I saw that it was this weird, like, and I went, oh, I gotta go. I gotta Nancy Drew this shit. I'm like, no. I'm like, I don't. And then I was like, this is a manipulation, because it's then, I guess the situation is, then I would have to offer up the things that I have said that could be bad.
I don't know.
But it was just I just went like, I'm almost 40 and you're almost 50. Like, I think we gotta just do our thing. like I'm out. I can't. What?
Just give it some time. It
was so funny though.
Maybe it was
like,
messing with you. You know, like my most shit talking friends are the easiest to freak out.
Yeah.
Because if they're shit talking to you, they're shit talking you to other people.
Yeah.
They're shit talking everybody, because that's how they scream in this dimension. Shit talking is a form of screaming when you're in pain. But if you want to be a real asshole, like part of their living hell. I mean, I don't advise. This is in my earlier days. I used to do this shit. I was gonna say, the Satanist told me, and I'll get back to what I was about to say. The Satanist told me, if you want to hurt people, become successful.
Right.
This is not a reason to become successful.
Right.
You don't want to burn that energy to become successful. Become successful and help people, and and absorb these people into your lives, and if you can, like, raise their vibration,
right,
if you can, or let your vibration get to the point where they naturally can't be around you anymore, because they find you repulsive. That's the idea.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to do anything, because they're just like, they don't want to be around that, which is why in the vampire metaphor, what do vampires hate? Light.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the idea. Is you want to get to the point where they're just like, I don't want to be fucking around your fucking bullshit, positivity, self-help. Shut the fuck up. I don't want to be around you. Whatever it is, they just naturally fall away.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell them to go away. Right. They have to go away on their own. They magnetically can't be around you. That's the only way, I think, to get rid of these motherfuckers. Actually,
so I just was like, it was a very funny experience.
Well,
and I was late for my spot. I was like, I have to work. Like, what is this? What is this?
If you have a shit talking friend, and by the way, I have shit talked in the past.
Me too,
I regret it.
dude.
It's fucking an addictive drug.
It really is fun.
What you could do for fun is, again, don't torment people. But if you did want to, give them the sense that you heard they were shit talking you, but don't let them know that, and they'll get so paranoid because they were shit talking you. And they'll think that because they're shit talking everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, my thing is, like, I'm like, but I don't think I said anything I wouldn't have said to this person. I'm like, I think I was talking to some friends of mine about an upset I had with you.
No, I don't think you was doing that. I think you were probably definitely shit talking him.
You think I was shit talking him?
My guess would be that just what you said. Shit talk might not be the right word, but when he wasn't there, you were confiding in someone, some trouble that you were having with him.
Which I guess is shit talking.
Which they took not as a...
I don't think they think it's shit talking. I think he's taking a shit. Because the whole thing is, I think I know who he's talking about. And it was someone I really was like, I was in tears over this person and I needed their help. And I was like, because they're like very good at boundaries and stuff. I was like, can you help me like establish some boundaries with this person?
Yeah.
And then that would explain to me why they would go like, oh wait, don't tell her. Like probably they realized they said something they shouldn't have said. And then, because why wouldn't you just tell me what it is? There's no shit.
I mean, the main thing is like what you said earlier. Like, who has time?
What the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, I will always like, I want my friends to be happy and successful and feel loved by me and supported by me. If I did something that's not in alignment with that, I would love to know that. I would be pleased to know that.
Yeah.
That would please me for you to come
just
confront
drama.
me with that.
I hate that shit.
It's just so funny. I was just like, what? I think we're a little out of the age range of this. But comedy does keeps you in it a little bit more.
Well, it's a community.
Yeah.
And also part of a community is this weird subconscious, which is the shit talking part of it, where like problems in the community are being worked out away from the nucleus of the problem, and that is some form of gossiping and shit talk. It's just a human nature. You know, we can't, don't trick yourself into thinking you're never going to shit talk. I just try to avoid it if I can. And I certainly don't avoid it all the time. It's delicious sometimes,
Did
isn't
you know
it?
the David Tell joke where he goes, you ever talk so much shit on someone you want to call him the next day and thank him for all the good times?
That is awesome.
I think about it like every day. It's my favorite. It's so fun. Because it is. It's like there's a joy in it. Like, and there's a connection to that person. And
Yeah, but it feels itchy and gross.
no, it's terrible.
It's like when you have poison ivy. It's like scratching an infection.
You're just popping it.
Yeah, it's just got this grotesque feeling to it. And then if you're around someone who's addicted to it, it's just like alcoholism. You know, shit talk, or they group. They have group texts where they shit talk people as a pastime.
I had one of those. Yeah, no, I had one where we were on. And then it was so funny because as time went on, I just stopped having anything against the person we were. And I look back and I go, why did we have anything against that guy?
Yeah.
It's so weird. I'm like, why did we group up against this guy?
I don't know.
I can't even remember like the moment of thinking anything. I'm like, oh, that guy's nice. I have no. I'm like, wasn't he always nice? Why were
What
we?
a disaster. You find out someone's nice.
Yeah, we're like, he was always nice. I think he was like a little show-offy, but it's like, who cares? We all are show-offs. Or a lot of us are.
This podcast has been brought to you by the CIA. Don't shit talk, become successful, but do it for love.
They're listening. Kids Corner.
Hare Krishna.
Adderall.
If it seems like I'm wrapping this up, it's because I have to pee.
Yeah, I got to pee too. Guys, this has been so fun.
Hare Krishna. See you guys later.
Thanks for being with us.
See you. Bye. Thanks
What was
for letting me be on your show.
the thing I want to pin again is the Pronoia.
Pronoia.
Pronoia, bitches. Pronoia.
The universe is conspiring to make you happy.
Everyone's trying to make you have a good life. Ha 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 ha. And we're in hell.
Cool.
That was so fun.
Thank you for having me on.
That was so fun.